FunPop. FunPop. FunPop.
Hey everybody, welcome to FunPop. This is episode number 19. Appreciate you being here, hanging out, and we're gonna have some fun talks today about DC, Netflix, Black Widow, and more. It's gonna be a great time. We also have, as always, Psychonauts. What's up, dude? How's it going?
Hi, hello. No, I'm doing pretty good. I was watching behind the scenes of Loki today, so
Nice.
that was interesting. Other than packing up and getting my stuff out of my ex's barn, and putting stuff into her barn.
A lot of fun stuff today.
Oh
Wait,
yeah,
did you say her barn?
yeah, barn.
And then-
BARN.
Just like Loki, there is a female version of 3-bit as well, with little bit here. Hi, little bit.
Hello. You know, someone has to pick up 3-bit slack, so.
Yeah.
Oh, shots fired.
Boom, boom. How's everybody in
drop.
the chat? Thank you for being here, hanging out with us tonight.
Don't get mad at me, babe. I love you so much.
Nah, this is my lovely wife, Kaitlin here.
I love you. Just remember that I love you, okay?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I love you. I love you.
Well,
Too.
I hope so. Who else should we be talking about?
What's going on?
Just remember I love you.
I'm getting scared now. How's it going, Mario? How's it going, Bac? How's it going, Lupa? How are y'all doing? What's happening?
Oh.
Is this something?
Psycho, there's some Psycho knows.
Oh, okay. 3-bit is gonna be here in 10. Yeah, he will be.
Oh, I shit talked. I gotta bounce.
I don't see the stuff you're discussing. What are you
I'm
talking
not
about?
discussing anything. I just said remember that I love you. That's all. Look at how professional you're being right now.
I know. I'm like looking back, trying to set. It had to do an update. By the way, how's it going, everybody in the chat? Again, thank you for being here. We are having fun. I wanted to talk a bit about Netflix because, oh my gosh, the stupid TV.
Oh my
screw
god,
it.
are you freaking kidding me?
What is going on? Y'all are confusing me.
That's just a little gift for you, Psycho.
Are you DMing Psycho behind my back?
Not right now.
What is that supposed to mean? What's going on, Steel?
Oh,
Sexy
you
time.
gave me this Steely. Thank you.
So Netflix gaming. So I was looking up this now. It looks like Netflix is really making a push for gaming. We talk about Netflix quite a bit, but you know, mainly for other reasons, right? But they are going to be putting out mobile games at no additional cost to subscribers. So is this something that you think people are going to actually play? Psycho? Is this like...
I doubt. I mean, there's okay. If everybody has a Netflix account and they're not going to charge anything extra initially, because we know Netflix they like to upcharge their
They'll give us the
services.
content, then they'll raise the price.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, if it's in your hands and if it's like a Stadia style service that they give you, yeah, I can see people using it. Not the hardcore gamers, of course, because you know we have dedicated hardware, but for the casual gamers that you know, like, hey, I've heard about this Call of Duty, or I heard about Halo, I heard about, well, not Halo, but I've heard about, you know, whatever game, and they possibly could be, they could pick it up and play, depending on integration with, if they're going to use your phone as a controller, for a certain style game, like the Scene It games. I don't remember those, like Movia Trivia.
I love those. They had the little controllers.
Yeah.
Seen It was great, man. That's a good thought. If they did stuff like that, that would be 100% down for that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Seen It Netflix edition, you know?
Yeah, and it could be all their stuff, all their movies or stuff that, you know, could be whatever the case is. Those style games will definitely be a hit, and then they can introduce other things down the line with the popularity as it grows, and it could take
Yeah.
off, and then they could be in the running for, you know, in the gaming space, to, you know, be a force.
Yeah. It's just like Mario in the chat. Shout out to Mario. Check out Mario. He has a channel and he's just getting started podcasting, guys. So go over there and show some support. Try and see if we can't get him some subs as well, and also help him with his podcasting career. But super, super awesome guy. All right, so I think that Netflix could do pretty decent with this, surprisingly, because how many people have the Netflix app? Like, maybe if you use the Netflix app, would you, like, if there was a game section, do you think like you would look through it and just to see what's there?
Like on mobile?
Yep, because that's what it's for. Like, this
No.
says no.
No.
Okay, because this says the games will be bundled for free into Netflix's main app, and for the time being will be primarily meant to be played on mobile devices, though they may eventually migrate to TVs. The company thinks some of its games will connect in some way to Netflix-owned franchises. You can definitely imagine a Stranger Things game, though probably not a sex life one.
What?
That's what this website. I'm getting this from Recode.
That's
But it may
weird.
also license existing games and brands from other devs. Netflix is describing its move into games as an initial foray. We think the time is right to learn more about how our members value games, the company said in its quarterly earnings release, but also says it's expecting to be in gaming for the long haul. Of course, you have to say that. This is a core part of our subscription offering, Greg Peters, the company's chief operating officer, said during the company's earnings call. The company thinks the main value of its games will be in keeping existing subscribers more engaged in the Netflix app, and thus less likely to unsubscribe. The games could also, in theory, help drive new subscriptions. Yay.
You're so funny, babe. The way you read that was so funny.
Are you guys okay?
Yes.
I have no idea what the
Yeah.
hell is happening.
Yeah, there's nothing in chat.
No.
There's not. I don't see anything
Psycho!
What?
in our chat.
No.
Why would it be in our chat? Our chat is fine.
Thanks for becoming a channel member again, Psycho. Super appreciate. What the hell is this, babe?
What?
What is that?
Dancing Bears. It's a Grateful Dead.
Mm.
Thank you.
What is that? What is that? A Captain America ball?
It's Grateful Dead.
That's
No,
the
the
steal your
ball.
face. The round thing
Yeah.
with the red and that's the steal your face from the Grateful Dead.
Oh, okay.
It's like the skull thing.
And what is the
Yeah.
bear?
It's a great.
That's-
You know what a Grateful Dead bear is?
Oh, the fucking the Beanie
Dancing Bear.
Baby.
No.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
I don't
No,
listen
they-
to the. I mean, I listen to the Grateful Dead, but I'm not like. a
Who
Grateful
doesn't know
Dead
what the
fan.
Grateful Dead bears are?
So the Grateful Dead bears are these little bears that have like these like colorful like fur on their neck, and they're always eating mushrooms and dancing in the
Maybe
forest.
it's because I grew up in Vermont.
Probably.
With Ben and Jerry's and stuff, because they were like.
And what is that thing beside Cardi B?
I don't know what that is. I love you.
Oh no, you have to get rid of that. You have to get rid of that. That cannot stay.
But you can't even tell what it is.
Yeah, you have to get rid of that.
I don't know. Let's see. Let's blow it up.
No, you have to get rid of it.
Oh my gosh.
There we go.
Okay, Dad.
I just removed it.
Are you serious? You're such a puss.
I just don't want to lose the YouTube channel. That's all. Just
over just a little penis and butt.
Yes.
Penis and balls.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
Pause. Pong Soul. Oh shit!
Look at Mav. He's like dying inside.
He's like, that's why she said she loves you. No.
Are you? Oh my gosh!
No.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, guys! What the shit?
Hey, how is it still here? If you deleted it.
I can't delete the thing. I'm just having to remove the messages.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you need to stop. You need to stop. Seriously.
Oh my gosh. I'm going to remove it. Relax.
Thank you. Okay. Netflix. Fucking hell. Okay. Psycho, if you had the mobile app for that, would you scroll through and maybe see the games and just go through and see what's there?
Yeah, I mean, I would. I mean, just to see what the hell, what they're trying to dabble into. Now, if I see some like major games in there, that could be pretty big. Like that, like I was saying, I think I said it last night. When I think you brought it up, or whenever we were talking about Netflix gaming. Hell, if they tried to acquire a Stadia, even though Google's like, we give up on it, Netflix, as you know, they like to take things that other people failed on and rejuvenate it to being the next best thing. Yeah. So if they could do something like that with Stadia, oh my, it could be very big.
Yeah.
Especially with if they get like Call of Duties and they get the large third-party publishers to put games into their service, because they're in hands of hundreds of millions of customers, more than what Xbox, PlayStation, and PC, I believe, combined. I believe, I forget how many accounts are on Netflix has, but it's a couple 100,000 or 100 million subscribers.
They have a lot.
That's your hands in to almost every single household across the United States and even overseas if they have stuff overseas. So yeah, that'd be pretty freaking big. And especially if like Game Pass, like Microsoft, Netflix, like, hey, you want to put Game Pass, and then Netflix has Game Pass, and you can stream with xCloud services.
Mm-hmm.
That would be big too.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for me, like if I was to be scrolling through, I would just see gaming there and I would check it out, and then it was like, oh, what's this? You know what I mean? That's cool, right? They're just like such a huge subscriber base already that I think that's the main reason it has a chance to be successful. And and the smart thing is doing it within the app, right? Yeah. They're not launching this other platform trying to make it its own thing. It's like, okay, we're gonna add this as a section to our existing offering and just see what happens, right? Like I think it's smart. I think they could do a lot of things with that, right? Potentially, and if it's successful, then it'll just grow, and who knows how good it could be. But yeah, they're definitely starting with a mobile market, which is also, and it makes a lot of sense as well, because you're just talking about apps at that point and reaching even more people than dedicated like hardware, right, for TVs and stuff. So I think, yeah, why not? You know what I mean? They're it's not right now, it's not costing us anything extra, and if it does actually turn out to be a good thing, then it may be worth adding the value over time. And if it only goes up a little bit over time and it's something that we enjoy, then that's cool with me too.
And they could do like within the app, just like how they have like you can get 4K streaming. They're gonna have like game streaming as another add-on that they can add instead of because if people are not everyone's going to use it, then they could use, if they get to a point where the numbers climb of people using it and then kind of drops off at that point, then they can see that maybe they will need to either charge for it, or if the numbers just keep climbing, and then do like $5 a month extra on top of your bill. You can do gaming for those that don't want it, or that do want it. So it keeps it separated, but still under the app because they can unlock it.
Yeah. So they said that like that they could have games based on some of their shows, babe. But like, what if they had like a PS I Love You game?
I mean, what would it be like a dating game?
Yeah, maybe like a dating simulator.
That's what I'm wondering in this whole thing is like, are they gonna have like what kind of games? Are you gonna be able to play like Call of Duty? Like, or is it gonna be like
I think
Candy
they're gonna
Crush?
be I think it's gonna be like okay, there's a Stranger Things game out there right now, right?
Yeah.
And I think like it's gonna be things that are more focused around touch controls to begin with, right? But like I think of like interactive experiences based around their IPs, and then probably also other licensed stuff. It seems like from their wording, they're really focusing on licensed content, and that's either their own stuff that they're not having to license out, but they're stuff that's based around their franchises, or going out and getting stuff based on other popular franchises.
So they're just gonna make a bunch of games based on like shows and stuff.
It's either shows or other games. Yeah, they could get other game developers and there's some of their IPs. Well, there could be a little Mortal Kombat thing on there. Who knows? You know,
you could see like the Witcher game being. They got the Witcher show, so maybe they possibly have like the Witcher on there.
Where else is there a Witcher game on other consoles?
Well, there's The Witcher. That's the game, right? The Witcher 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah. So possibilities.
Are
Are
they going to come out with any kind of like controller or anything?
No.
Or do they just
no? They're probably, if you have a gaming console, like you could either you could use your phone and sync it up via Bluetooth to your TV, or you can use their app through it, and there's a controller pad you can use, or you could use
an Xbox controller, on your phone.
Right, but not everybody who has Netflix has
consoles.
But they have a phone.
Yeah. So. I think it's gonna be based on touch controls for the most part. Start out with at least.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that they're going to make an app. My prediction is they're going to have like a separate app for the gaming, and your phone is going to be your controller.
Yes. Well, it's not going to be a separate app. It's within the app. It's within the Netflix app. There'll be a gaming section.
Well, I'm just saying. Do you know this?
Yeah, that's what they said.
Okay.
They kind of an interactive type of game, kind of like how Dragon's Lair was back in the day. How it was kind of like interactive. So you had to move the controller where the light flashed in the game. They could do like Fear Street interactive. There's other games that are like movie based that are interactive. I
Imagine
remember
a Fear
playing that
Street
song.
where you have to get away from the killers, right?
Imagine one where you are in charge of making every decision.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of, I think, where they may be going with some of this stuff. That's why I'm kind of actually intrigued by it. It could be like, imagine, all right, like we're using the Xbox and they bring these games to the TV eventually, and the gaming section was within the Xbox Netflix app, and we're just chilling in bed at night, go to the gaming section on Netflix and mess around with a Fear Street game, right? That could be something interactive. I think there's a lot of potential.
Could be a whole new gaming experience for people.
We'll see what they do. We'll see if they just do some Candy Crush type shit, you know, where people get charges automatically to their Netflix account. That's what I'm
saying. If it's just like those kind of mobile games, then you can just, there's plenty of those to just play on your phone anyway.
Honey, how did you spend $1,000 this month on Netflix?
Right. There's what's all these freaking microtransactions?
What, dear? What's a microtransaction? You know, think about this too, though, right? There's a lot of older people and and also just people that don't play games that often, right? That watch a lot of shows and movies, and they all have Netflix, you know? And this will automatically be another category just for those people.
What are they going to make, like a Wheel of Fortune game?
No, I'm not.
That's what my grandma watches that every single night.
But like it kind of puts gaming in front of the faces of more people, right? Because even on a phone, you got to go to like another section to go to the games, right?
They could make it a more like they could have a big like kids section too.
Mm-hmm.
Because like a lot of like Kaylee, because kids can have their own Netflix account.
Yeah, that's true. The kids gaming for kids, like a whole dedicated thing.
Yeah.
And I mean like not just like, I mean like also like, you know, toddlers even like 4-year-olds and stuff.
People have to look.
They could even make learning games.
Yeah.
People have to look at this as it's not going to be like the answer to xCloud or the answer to like
yeah, absolutely
Amazon Lumia. Fuck, I'm thinking something.
Why are you adding an E in there?
It's the Grateful Dead bears.
Yes, I ate too many. No. So this is more for, you know, like straight up casuals. It could be for like, you know, great, like what Kate was saying, adding games for kids, adding educational type games, because they have a kids section. They have, you know, the normal adult section. Well, not adult, but for the rest of us section of Netflix. So I think it'd be interesting on what they do and how they implement, and what if it's like interactive games, because it'd be cool to be interacting with the new show that they have going, like He-Man that's coming out.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
That show looks really cool.
The possibilities are endless.
They got a lot of anime too.
Yeah,
there's a lot of possibilities.
Possibilities.
You caught that?
Yeah. Oh, who stopped by? Who's
an
that?
imposter.
Yeah.
I'm the real 3-bit.
I am the real 3-bit now.
Okay, there you go.
Look at that snazzy ass shirt.
No, he's even got it buttoned all the way up.
Hey everyone, is that me?
Well, I mean, someone had to pick up your slack for 29 minutes.
How'd she do, guys?
Great, except she almost got
in trouble.
Except she almost got her channel banned.
Oh, okay. Well,
I added a new emoji. It had to do with SpongeBob, and Mav didn't like it very much.
Oh gosh.
It was that SpongeBob.
Oh, I should probably plug in my Ethernet. That's probably a thing.
Your Ethernet? Did you say Ethernet?
Ethernet.
What? Oh boy.
Oh,
here we go, guys.
Is this another Almond situation?
Yeah. Ethernet. Isn't
Ethernet.
that how you say it?
No, unless you're a
Absolutely not.
Minecraft fan and you spend a lot of time in the ether or the nether.
I thought it was Ethernet.
So have you ever gone to the store and like asked
Ethernet.
where the Ethernet cords are?
Chat, all right, is it Ethernet or is it Ethernet?
They know. They know.
Welcome
on,
to the
chat.
show, 3-Bit.
It's like the real ones know.
The real ones know what I'm talking about.
It looks
Hey,
like you
guys.
just had fun out on the town. What's up, Hellboy? How's it going, dude? Thank you for showing up and being here.
Oh,
We were just talking about Netflix gaming, 3-Bit.
Oh yeah, I heard that was a thing.
Yeah, and it's going to be within the Netflix app, no additional cost. It's going to be a category for games, and they're going to be based. Some of them are going to be based on the shows and movies from Netflix, like Stranger Things or like stuff like that. And then they may go also get out licenses from other games or other movies or shows. So it seems like it's going to be heavily focused on like licensed type things, right? And it's going to be mainly on mobile to start out with. And they, if successful, they may eventually move to TVs and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was curious about if you have your Netflix app and you're scrolling through it and you see gaming, would
Right.
you just scroll through there to see like what's there to play?
Now, am I going to be able to play? Like, can I connect my controller somehow? Like,
They don't say
or
yet.
is it? Because I know they experimented with like they did the that one Bandersnatch, which was kind of an interactive movie, which I
Yeah.
really loved. And then they did a Minecraft thing, which was kind of like that as well.
Mhm.
So I'm wondering if you are playing these games with a remote, or if you can like
Well, they
somehow
said it's
connect your
focused on
Bluetooth.
mobile.
So it's focused on mobile.
Yeah, so it's only on mobile actually to start out with, but it may eventually come to TVs. So I'm thinking it's like
Okay.
touch controls, right?
Okay. Well, I just got here, everybody. Hello.
Hey,
First
lady.
yeah.
Hi.
Because what I was thinking, 3-Bit, is possibly like having the Netflix app on your phone and interacting it with what's on your TV, because you can pick movies from your phone and you can, stream it to your TV and things like that. So possibly something along those lines.
Mhm.
And then possibly like interactive movies, games, like I was saying like He-Man and possibly Fear Street and all bunch of stuff. Because I mean, back in what it was a 3DO, and or in CDI or CDI also, CDI Phillips also had like interactive type like movie games. So something along those lines of gaming, I'm thinking in the very beginning.
Right. Oh, that'd be kind of cool. Games will be bundled for free.
Hey, KY
Mobile
Bob,
device.
I'm on a podcast, buddy. I can't join your
Is
party
he,
chat.
is he wanting to play?
Yeah,
It's like, come on.
You just sent
Come on,
me a party
we heard
invite.
about this Netflix stuff before. Come on. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's kind of cool. I don't think it'll compete against like the major three in any way.
No.
Yeah,
At least at first, they do have a lot of money, but yeah, I don't know. I have to see like more of the details, like what it actually means for
Mhm.
Netflix and what games they even plan on making and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Plus Netflix,
I'm not
almost
sure.
everybody has Netflix in their home, so it's in the hands of a lot of people, like we were saying earlier. So the user base is huge. So whatever they decide to do, they're going to start small, I'm assuming, and then possibly if it's successful, it could ramp up to being something along the lines with Amazon Luna and other and Nextcloud, things like that. And that's that forefront with game streaming, at least.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna read more into it and see like what the actual details are. It seems like what Mav was saying, it's like meant to be played with mobile devices. So I'm thinking like the games we like, me, you, Lady, Kate, we all played that what's that game called, where you play on your mobile device and gosh, what is it called?
Those, like,
Jackbox.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if it's like Jackbox, then cool, I guess. Where it's supporting, I guess. Okay, so Netflix's vision for like what they have been doing so far is still using whatever is in the app, whatever is actually in the Netflix app. So whatever they do in the future with games, I'm sure they're still going to want to support what's already on there in some capacity. So so I don't think it'll be a whole separate thing like Netflix games, like you download a whole other app or anything like that. I'm thinking it's going to be something like Bandersnatch, but in it with more control. Maybe kind of like Jackbox TV, where you can write stuff in, you can draw stuff. And that way, if they do it that way, they can still have the Netflix app, but you know, build the games on your phone. So Jackbox TV is like my best example of what they will possibly be doing with like the actual games. But yeah, I just joined, so I don't really know what you guys talked about beforehand, if we just jumped on this topic or what. But yeah, that's what I think. Okay. Yeah.
Matt had a mini stroke on screen because of Fancy's emoji. So
is there new emojis? And let me see.
Yeah,
No.
he did. Yeah, there was.
What's this one?
Oh, it's still there. No, it's still there.
Don't use it.
I think you just have to refresh your thing because it's not there.
Oh, okay. I wonder if I
What
click
is
it
that
and see what
one?
happens.
Is that a bear?
Yeah, I didn't know what it was either, so I'm not alone now.
Yeah, that's the Grateful
What's up,
Dead
the
bear.
Hellboy? DC emoji, and then my head emoji. The Grateful Dead bear. What's up, Tool Man? How's it going? Yeah, I just think it's like cool. Like if they do base it around mainly like the licensed stuff, it could be like different, right? Like a place to go to have like interactive stuff based around the shows and stuff we like. And it doesn't have to be like, oh, this is great, amazing, next cutting edge gameplay. It's just fun, stupid stuff to play, right? It just would come with a subscription, right? So it just little things like that could be fun to do, right?
Did you guys see that trending on Twitter is hashtag MCU secrets out?
No.
And I don't know if anybody really knows why that's trending. I don't know the origins of it.
I'm afraid to see.
That's probably what because today was that
the
they're
Loki
talking
thing?
about the Loki behind the scenes because they officially announced it's Kang as the main protagonist in the what could be the either
next phase 4
next phase. So I don't think he's
or
gonna
saga,
be
the next saga, or who knows.
Yeah, he might be the mid-level enemy, like boss per se. He's not going to be the end game boss.
It could be the next like Loki, right? You know, Loki kind of played that role for them the last time, where kind of like you know, he was the main protagonist in Avengers, and then he kind of served as like he kept showing back up to wreak havoc and do different things, right? And now they twisted him into like, I think the way we left it is like he's all good now, right?
Yeah.
And then maybe this guy is taking that role potentially, right?
Well, it's good. I like that you brought that up because it's like, so now that the TVA doesn't know who he is, and if he's on a timeline where no one knows who he is technically, is he going to go back to his old mischievous ways? Because they don't know, and they're like, it's Loki, so he could be like, no one knows me. And if there's an Asgard during this timeline, because if he's on a different multiverse, and he's like, if there's an Asgard there, does he try to save it, or does he try it so he can roll it, or does he, warn those
I think
people?
everything from that point on is gonna be completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
this
like
totally
completely different.
changes.
But that's in the past, according to the timeline. So
Well,
from that point on, it means that events that have already happened may be changed now. Right? That's what blows my mind with this whole thing, because if he's in a different reality, did it change the timeline? Because
Well,
this is setting after the events of the Battle of New York. Right? So that means Ultron, that means Thanos, all of that shit may have played out completely different.
Yeah, during his
Right.
wherever he is. I could very well. And then maybe Loki doesn't allow Hela to destroy Asgard, and they rule together.
Yeah. Oh, here's another thought where you're going with with I just did the thing that we originally got said it, the thing that kicked that whole off. Loki, right? Tried to be good, right? He was 100% good. He gave himself up. He almost got his head cut off, right? Like all this stuff. He gave himself up. He did the most noble thing. He give himself up for the potential greater good. And he still failed, right?
Mhm.
So that could be the thing that sets him to think, okay, the only way to actually create the world that he thinks is fitting again is to actually take that throne. So his whole goal now, because that's what the other opportunity was, right? That Kang gave them was to control it. His whole thing now may be actually to gain the mantle again, to actually take the throne. So if that, because the other option that he tried didn't work, and that was.
But I don't think it's gonna work now because that required him to live. I'm pretty sure. If they were gonna take over the throne, that required his life to stay intact.
Yeah, Kang's. Well, the Immortus.
Unless I'm wrong about that.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Well, now
I'm
the
not sure.
timeline's fractured. It's fractured all to hell. So
Now it's kind of screwed up.
They needed Kang to.
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure. Oh, and I want to say, okay, so this is from Neo GameSpark. I was looking for this tweet. He said, Jonathan, it just hit me. I'm just gonna quote what he said. It just hit me. Jonathan Majors is playing He Who Remains, aka King the Conqueror, aka Nathaniel Richards. If Marvel stays true enough to the source material, oh boy, certain folk ain't gonna be happy about an upcoming casting. Which basically means that, like, if you guys look at who like Nathaniel Richards,
Mr. Fantastic, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But they could, like, he's pretty much just like the scientist from a different Earth, and he
because he could be from the future, right?
Yeah, because he's a relative.
Because he controls the timeline, and he can time jump.
He's Reed Richards,
right? Reed Richards' dad or son?
So
descendant.
It's like Nathaniel Richards is the dad. I'm pretty sure, right?
I'm not sure.
Dad or grandfather.
Okay, Nathaniel.
They were talking about he was the descendant of Reed Richards, and
the descendant would mean like long, like
he's a descendant of Dr. Doom, but father of Richards. Okay, let me look this up.
He's the father of Reed Richards, but he's a time traveler also. So he could have fathered Reed Richards at any timeline. So who knows where he's actually? I don't know when he's from.
Yeah.
But yeah, he is the father of Reed Richards, which you're basically meaning that people might be upset if they make Mr. Fantastic as something other than a white guy.
Yeah, which is right. Well, it might be a thing if they want to go there and like with King's casting and make it look like like every version of King looks like that actor, then most likely, yeah, he is gonna be a black dude. But if not, we've seen Loki, right? There's so many different types of Loki. There was a black Loki, there was a kid
Yeah.
Loki, there was an old guy Loki. So they could get away with really anything they want, which is actually
Exactly.
really
Yeah.
smart.
Yeah. So they can play with that whole timeline because, you know, what version of Kang stayed alive, you know, there could be there could have been a whole different type of races of King as well with this whole, you know, multi-universe. And this variant of whatever Kang was is what we see now, and is now he was Immortus, is because there's many faces of Kang in the comics at least. So it's interesting. Where are they gonna go with this? So I know we went back on Marvel, but they're just so freaking, they're just on fire right now. And it's just, and if you guys watch the assembled, which is the behind the scenes, they give a I think they just teased X-Men in the intro of that behind the scenes.
Okay, gotta check
You
it
have to
out.
watch it. Yes.
Oh yeah, I didn't even talk about Loki on this show yet. But
We haven't talked about Black Widow either. We wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah,
because you've been gone for so many weeks, you know.
Yeah, so many.
Kate tried to watch Loki. She couldn't get into it. Well, she watched one episode.
Like, is this still the other conversation that we had where like, yeah, you should watch the first episode rather than the fourth? Yeah. Or is this updated?
No, she's only watched the one episode.
Oh yeah, you need an update, Kate.
Because no, you had the last episode on in bed.
Yes, I did, but she didn't watch
and it. I didn't care about it.
Yeah. It's okay. It's just not that, you know, she would have been way more into the earlier episodes because like the more out there the things get, right? It's like you kind of have to be invested from the earlier parts to really, I think, get into that other stuff. Otherwise it's more meaningless, right? So I think we would have to go back to the first episode for sure. So let's do that tonight, babe. Let's go on a Loki spree.
Yeah. Watch. Okay. First off, I don't know. You can't just watch Loki on episode 4 or 5.
Well, you know, I watched the movies. Like I've seen him in the movies, and like none of his like story or anything. Like that bored the crap out of me.
Okay, but me too, right? I hated Loki before this show. This show is what made.
Did you just hate him because he wasn't like a jerk?
No, I didn't care about his character. Like honestly,
yeah.
Like there's so many other characters I love, like Iron Man.
Yeah.
That like I cared about. What's another one? Cap. Care about him.
I thought he was just such a small part of the movies. I didn't think he'd ever like get his own show or anything.
Yeah, I had the same like thought process. Like, who, like, really? They're making a Loki show? Like, okay, wow, okay, ooh. But when I watched the show, like the first few episodes, I'm like, okay, so that's where they're going with it. Like, it kind of went in a direction where, they gave him like kind of a interesting arc because he's always just portraying people, right? He's always the one character, and I guess this is my first time talking about Loki on the show. He's kind of the character that just betrays everybody, and they go into that side of his character, and then what they do is like, okay, we're gonna break that part of his character, and you'll realize like kind of who he really is, and that's in the first few episodes. Then later they're like, okay, you got that part, let's explore a whole other part, and that's probably the part you saw. So yeah, you're probably not gonna like it if you saw that part, which is fine. You know, even if you watch the whole show, you know, like it's whatever. But I do think the first few episodes is like where they explore the character. I think the first few episodes are important because they touch on the stuff that made me not like Loki in the first place.
Mhm.
And then they touch on those things. Like, okay, that's pretty cool.
Oh,
But I'm also speaking from a dude who loves Marvel
exactly.
perspective. So keep that in mind also. I freaking love
I
Marvel.
do. I keep that in mind.
Okay, good.
Well, one way to look at it, 3-bit, like what you're trying to say, I think like the first like 3 episodes are more just pure storytelling, right? From like character perspective and character building, and then like the other 3 episodes are more like fantastical, like things happening, right? That are kind of like, so it's just without the first 3, I don't think you can appreciate the other 3.
Yeah, for sure. But I thought the show was great. I think after watching like it as a whole all together, I would rate it pretty high. Did you guys give it ratings yet?
I don't know. Did we give it ratings? I don't think so.
Oh.
No, because you one of us
We were waiting on you, 3-bit.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, let's give it ratings then. What did you give WandaVision, if you guys can remember that?
I have no clue. I think 8.5, something like that.
An 8?
Yeah, it was like 8 or 9.
8 or 9.
I believe.
Okay.
That's what
Yeah,
we gave it.
I really like WandaVision. I like how unique that show was with like how it moved further in the timeline. And people didn't like the end. I thought it was great. I give that show like an 8. WandaVision. Loki, I would also I would give a 7.5. Now the ending alone, I would boost it up, but I'm not counting the ending because the ending I thought was awesome. Like it made me freak out a lot.
How can you not add the ending? That's part of the show.
Because I'm thinking about it as a whole. Like if I were just to like have the ending, I would 8 or 9. Like just just the ending alone, because that pretty much tells the future of Marvel and what's going to happen. But I'm just judging it as a show, because when I think about WandaVision, I think about the whole show, and I'm trying to do the same with Loki. Like with WandaVision, I thought about every single episode. I thought it flowed really well. I thought the mystery of like what happens each episode and the acting and everything. And I thought like Loki had great actors and everything, but some of the special effects was kind of like sometimes. That's just me though. Like I thought the episode when they were going on the planet. This is my first time talking about it, so I'm trying to remember everything. When they were going on the planet and they were running away, I thought the pacing on that was weird. But
it was that 2-part.
Like they were running, they stopped
thing,
and then
the train. I like the train stuff, but besides the train stuff, like everything about those 2 episodes, I could have done without. Right, it seemed kind of like unnecessary, and I only think the purpose of it was to like have that time where they spend time alone together, right, to get comfortable with each other. I think that's the only purpose that served. Other than that, like it just seemed kind of pointless, right? So those 2 episodes for sure, I agree. So I think I gave it like 8.5. What about you, Psycho?
I think with everything, so the whole Loki series and everything, with that ending, I put it up there with a 9, because that really just set up. It's the first show that kind of set up an actual like the MCU villain, and gave us such a just left us like, oh my god, just changed everything about the MCU and just really redefined what we were thinking could be possibly being shown, what for the next couple phases, just took that and just like threw a monkey wrench with this Loki series, because now anything can happen, and possibly we will see that, especially with Spider-Man starting off, seeing what this show caused for the MCU, and then seeing it also with the Doctor Strange 2 Multiverse of Madness, leading up to the events where it's going to be happening, and the show was what started it, you know. So it was really good, and I enjoyed it. I liked it a lot, even though it wasn't a lot of high action. That's okay, you know. It gave us a story, you know, and when you know, in comics, there are parts series in comics where, you know, there's a lot of dialogue and explanation and things like that it doesn't have action that's involved. So definitely really interesting to see where they take this with the information they just gave us. So
Yeah, dude.
I give it a 9.
Now 3 bits.
I gave it a 9 3-bit.
Wait, what'd you give a 9?
Loki.
Your turn. Now we talked about.
Wait, what'd you give WandaVision? You gave a higher score than from.
Yeah, because this gave us, like I just said, this gave us a new villain for MCU, and it just changed everything in the MCU, and threw a monkey wrench and everything. And we're gonna see what that's gonna turn into with the start of Spider-Man this December, and Doctor Strange 2. We're gonna see.
All right. So take the ending out. Let's pretend the ending doesn't exist. What would you give it?
If the ending didn't exist,
yeah. Because the ending was awesome. That's why I said the ending is freaking awesome.
I'll give it a 7. That ending gave it.
Okay. So you have like the same score almost as me, if it wasn't for the.
Because it was a lot of dialogue, but it didn't. You know, it shaped its way through the universe, or at least in the Loki timeline of, you know, what was going on, and it gave us a really great story. But it wasn't impactful until we saw that ending, and then knowing who was behind the scenes, and who it was. Everyone was guessing. I mean, people were saying it's Morpheus or Mephisto, and it could be this person, it could be that person, just you know, guessing at who it was. And then other than Ant-Man, you know, saying that, you know, Kang is going to be in that movie, and we're like, where the hell is Kang going to come from? And then boom, here's Loki. That's where it started. The start of the new phase started with the TV show. Well, technically, WandaVision started it, but it really, the meat and potatoes came from Loki.
Yeah.
So, and plus,
okay.
The chick, the judge, forget her name, but the judge that was for the TVA, she has a big part in the MCU as well. So it's going to be big, and Loki is going to be in with Scarlet Witch and Doctor Strange Doctor Strange 2 Multiverse of Madness.
So you rate it higher based on what's happening for the Marvel universe in the future, like what this sets up for the most part.
Yes, because as a show itself, it got a lower score without that last part, but because this set up the MCU next,
it raises that bar
phases,
for you.
It raises it because it's a wow factor. It's something that, you know, a show, no one's done anything like this in Marvel prior to this. Doing TV. DC never really did this. DC sucks. I mean, their animated series is totally different from the movies, and you know, and the animated series, to me, DC is better than their movies, and that's other than Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder's Snyderverse are hands down the best DC movies, in my opinion. But that's just me.
Yeah, I agree.
I want to get
But-
3-Bits Black Widow's thoughts because we talked about it last week.
So my thoughts are, what's the blonde girl's name? The
Black
The
Widow
other-
too.
The other Black Widow, yellow. God, I had it in my head. Yellow.
I had it in my head too.
It's a Yelena.
Yeah.
Yelena.
Yelena. Okay,
Yelena Belova.
Yelena. Okay, so Scarlett Johansson has been Black Widow for many years
Yeah.
now, right?
Yeah.
Since Iron Man 2,
Yes.
I believe.
Yeah. That is
Um,
correct.
We've been waiting for a Black Widow movie for a long time. It should have happened a long time ago. What this movie did for me was realize that Yelena, or whatever her name is,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yelena.
she literally stole the show for me. Like, she should be Black Widow, and she's probably going to be. I just thought I had more of a interest in watching her than Scarlett Johansson.
I think they did that on purpose.
Which
Because
they
wanted
if
to,
they did,
wanted to
then
have a
awesome.
passing of the torch, because they gave her all of the lines that were like,
Yeah.
to kind of grab your attention, right?
Yeah,
Scarlett's
they
lines
did a
were
good
all
job, man.
kind of
Like, like her character was more interesting than Scarlett's. Like, because like, I don't know, she was like the younger sister. She's been through a lot. She just got out of the program. She had funny lines. Like, she was like a hard character in terms of like, she had like tough skin, but at the same time, like, she had humor with like, this is my vest. It has lots of pockets,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Mhm.
I just cared more about her character than Black Widow, like Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow. So when I was watching the movie, there were a lot of things I liked about it. And then some things felt really rough. The villain itself, the guy, the older guy,
Yeah.
I'm not talking about.
You talking about the Russian guy or whatever?
Yeah, he was so generic and James Bondy.
It was James Bondy character. Yeah, villain. It's fair.
I didn't really care about him too much. I thought I thought the idea was interesting. But when I really sat back and thought about this story, we kind of already seen the story a couple times with like the ship. They have to take down the huge ship, and like, I don't know, Marvel has done it a couple times. But
Yeah.
what made it interesting was, and different, was that family dynamic of like, they used to be family and they have this sort of
Mhm.
history together. That's what made Black Widow the different MCU movie. But the plot itself is like kind of been done. And I'm brutal today. I don't know what I drank or what, but that old guy, I think he was just so generic. And the other guy, the Red Russian, is that his name?
Red Guardian.
Red
Red
Guardian.
Guardian.
Every time I think about Red Guardian, I think of like specific scenes. I think of the scene when he's first on the airplane and he's like helping them escape.
Yeah, he's like
And then
very
I think
heroic.
He's very heroic, right? I always
Yeah.
think about this. I think about how heroic he was. I think about like how I guess they did this on purpose. Like, they only showed a few scenes with him to not reveal how dumb he is, but later you could really see how like how he's like really dumb, and how he's not the best with his words, and yada yada yada. Because when you first watch his first appearance, they don't show him as much, and it's just like I don't know. I just think about that moment when he was first introduced, when he's like on the airplane saving them, and then I think about later when he's in the prison, he's kind of like really dumb. But overall, I thought the movie was decent. I had a great time with it. I love, is it Yelena? I keep forgetting her name.
Yelena.
Yelena, I thought she stole the show. I thought she was a really good Black Widow. Like, I'm looking forward to her being Black Widow in the future. I think if this was a passing of torch, if that was their intention, then they did a good job with that. But if that wasn't their intention, they still plan on using Scarlett Johansson, and this was just like a whoops movie, then then I don't know. I thought she was a great passing of torch character for sure, because now I'm interested in her, right? I'm interested in like what her story is, and I wonder how Scarlett feels about that. Like, this movie was basically saying like, hey,
bye,
you're no longer Black Widow, bye. This is the new Black Widow. I'm helping you help this actor become Black Widow. I don't know, it's interesting. I'm gonna give this movie also a 7. Cool. I'm gonna give it the same score I gave Loki, because I think it had the same problems as Loki. Well, in certain ways, like my problem with Loki was that some of the pacing was a little weird, and specifically in that one episode when they were running away from that explosion. Like, I know they were trying to do like a one shot, but I don't know. That just threw me out.
It seemed a little too unrealistic.
They run, they stay there, and they're just like waiting. It seems like they're waiting for their cue on like when an actor is supposed to like run by, or they get like a lighting cue or something like that. They just wait there. I don't know. So I give that a 7, and I give Black Widow a 7 as well. And you also have to think about this, right? You have to think about all the other Marvel movies out there. Like, that's what I'm also thinking about with my score. I'm thinking about Civil War, which is like a 9. I'm thinking about like Endgame, of course, that's a 10. And Infinity War, that's a 10. So I'm thinking about those movies as well. And I know this is like a side movie and whatever, but yeah, I don't know. I wish it did certain things. Like, if I was a director or writer of Black Widow, my question to you guys, because I always like asking you guys, like, that's my score, what do you guys think? What would you have changed if you had this plot? They gave you this script, they're like, here's a script to Black Widow. What would you have changed in this movie to make it better?
No, it's
Taskmaster. Taskmaster, change fucking
You would take him out?
No, change. No, just, I don't know. they just it didn't feel like that was Taskmaster. It did not feel
I think it'd been better if they didn't even reveal who Taskmaster was, and just like had like a big secret character going around there that just, you know what I mean? Like, they could have done different things like that. Psycho.
Yeah. It was just that, it was just like, it was her daughter, and then it was just like, really, like, it just didn't feel like, not important, but it just didn't have substance that, who Taskmaster was, and they kind of like lost sight of what, the mystery of the character. You know what I mean? So it's like, why did they reveal who was Taskmaster? They should have kept it a secret, and they could have revealed it somewhere down the road in a show or something along the line.
That would have had a bigger payoff if you found out then.
I thought it was just going to be Taskmaster, because in the promos, all they show is Taskmaster. They didn't show this old guy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Like, I like the old guy villain personally, but
that was a cool premise what they did with having him. He was behind everything, but with Taskmaster, it set up like that was like the main villain, and like the importance of Taskmaster, and then it just fell flat. We didn't feel that. It didn't represent it on screen that Taskmaster was this.
It was never a real threat.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
like she like didn't she like walked past her and she was like
because
go
she was
find
being
the
like
others.
controlled and all
Yeah.
this different stuff. Like what you said, Mav, like with like you like the old guy, whatever. I liked like the old guy, even though I said like he's a generic like
Yeah,
Bond
they've
villain,
done
which he
they've
is,
done that before, 100%.
but they've done it before.
Yeah,
I
agree. I
like,
agree.
Yeah, like I think he was interesting in certain ways, like how he's pretty much freaking Harvey Weinstein and controlling all these different girls and controlling them, like all these Black Widows and forcing them.
I liked the mind games there, like how like just much of a like narcissistic.
I'm having trouble understanding right now.
It's Taskmaster. It's Taskmaster.
Tell about the Taskmaster.
That's
Behind you.
narcissistic like pig he is. Like I like how they went there with that, because this is like a movie based on like females, right? Like, you know, so they like made the main villain the opposite, right? A chauvinistic pig, right? Yeah, baby.
Speaking of that, like I have like some questions.
Uh-huh.
Like, first of all, I know like the Captain America show or whatever.
Yeah.
So what's his name? Who's the new Captain America?
Sam Wilson.
No.
John Walker.
No. His name in real life, like the actor.
Oh, Anthony Mackie.
Yeah, is he going to be a Captain America in any movies that come out going forward?
Probably, yeah.
Or will Chris Evans be Captain America still?
No,
technically
probably Anthony Mackie. I think Marvel's pretty bold with their decisions.
Yeah,
for the most part.
That was that whole show was about passing the torch, and you know.
Is that because Chris Evans didn't want to do it anymore?
Contracts up, and
no, he got old and died.
Well, that's why they wrote that in, though. That's like, you know, like if Chris Evans, like, yeah, I'm down for 30 years, they probably would have.
Yeah, I would think that they wouldn't let someone like Chris Evans go unless it was his decision.
Well, I mean, if they're trying to stay away from giving contracts, like the article that you read a while back, then that's probably why they tied up and did what they did, because they could go into another multiverse and get a new Captain America without freaking blinking an eye.
Yeah. So, and they can also bring him back at any time too.
I think it may have been his decision. I know he like struggles with like anxiety and stuff like that in his personal life.
So does Henry Cavill.
Yeah. Chris Evans likes to lead like a very low key life. I follow him on Instagram. But anyway, so another question is, if the three of you could choose, would you choose the Yelena girl to be Black Widow?
I say yes.
Yeah, the blonde hair chick, yeah, most definitely. She was good.
She like brought more personality to me than Scarlett Johansson.
This isn't a trick question, babe.
But like I know.
Can you just answer?
Okay.
Wait, I'm 3-bit finish.
All right.
Okay, sorry.
I'm gonna say this. You guys would probably say like Hulk and different stuff. With Hulk, you think about like, oh, the best Hulk is probably what's his face, Mark Ruffalo, because you've seen him a bunch of times.
Lou Ferrigno.
Okay, well, cool, right? But like you've seen him replay this role for so long and whatever. But I think I've only seen her once as Black Widow, and I already think she's a better Black Widow. But maybe I don't know. That's controversy.
I feel like I'm seeing that like all over the internet though. Like she's just like captivated everybody.
Yes.
Yeah, I think she did good. Like she like Black Widow is kind of a hard character to get. It's kind of like Batman. Like it can be very one note if you don't do it right. Like because Batman has so many different layers to him, but if on the surface he's just like dark and like I'm Batman, right?
Yeah.
Black Widow's kind of the same because she hides a lot of who she is. She's like a spy assassin, but really she's dealing with a lot. And I think Yelena did that. I think like you could see like she went through a lot, but also you can see the different layers of who she was. And I even in Black Widow's own movie, I didn't see that as well. So with Scarlett's character, like as much as Yelena, right? In her own movie. So
I'm gonna counteract
all right, go ahead.
everything you just said. So they left Black Widow in a good place with Yelena, right?
Mhm.
But if you're just asking me right now who's a better Black Widow and who I would choose to be Black Widow, it would be Scarlett Johansson. And it's not like for any reasons other than like we're going a lot based on just what we've seen in this movie right now, right? And so that's one thing. Like, and if you really think about who like made everything possible and happen in this movie with Scarlett Johansson, like she's the one that saved the day. Really, she's the one that thwarted the bad guy, right? At the end, she's the one that saved everybody. Right, she had to save Yelena. Like
I'm not talking about in terms of story moment.
So yeah, there was like okay, so Scarlett Johansson is a Black Widow, is a master of deception. Right, she plays that perfectly. She's like, remember when she was sitting there talking to Loki when he was trapped on the ship, right, in like Hulk's like cage, right? And she's sitting there having the conversation with Loki, and Loki thinks he's getting into her head, right? And Loki's trying to manipulate her. All the while, she's actually manipulating Loki, and finds out what his plan is by him giving that little clue at the end. Right, that happened in Avengers. All of these different things. She's always playing the girl that is like has that dark past, but is trying to be good. She has this like way of always being not giving anybody too much information. Right, like holding stuff close to her chest, so she always has a card to play, right? And she plays that like really well, and that's got to be really hard to do, to come across that way in all of the scenes that you're doing. And then also there's the thing with like Mark Ruffalo and that whole thing going on there. Like there's a lot like endearing about the character that she portrayed, and it's easy to say now because like Yelena was funny and stuff like that, and like kind of with stuff, and they didn't necessarily give Scarlett as many of the good lines and stuff in this movie. But like thinking back to all of the stuff that we got from Black Widow, and you can go back into Iron Man 2, right? Like playing the secretary and all that stuff, right? Like there's just a lot of good stuff that she portrayed the character like so well.
That's why I said that. I said like with Hulk, people are going to say Mark Ruffalo is the best Hulk because you've seen him so many times. I've seen her in one movie and I'm already more like interested. Maybe it is what you're saying
new,
because it is new and
okay, yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to touch on a little bit. Is so the Black Widow movie has been like a long time coming, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they should have made this a long time ago.
Okay, so she like finally gets the movie, and now it's like they introduce this younger, fresh personality, and now it's like Scarlett Johansson's getting older, and now everybody's just like, I want the young chick
with the new,
exactly. And I think that's kind of fucked up.
It is, but hey.
But you're contributing to that.
I am, but it's just like it's genuinely how I feel. Like I've seen Scarlett in so many different like Marvel movies.
Yeah, it's like whatever. Scarlett Johansson, whoop-de-doo. Oh, who's
No, I
this?
think she plays the role great. I think people are gonna mistake of what I'm saying. I think she plays the role like very well. I just think it'd be like
I just think the girl
Yelena's
that's 10
character.
years younger than her,
It's just
who I've
this
never
is
seen before, is fresh, new, and exciting, and I'm here for it.
maybe, yeah.
Hey,
I
you
don't
sound
know.
like my dad.
Oh jeez.
I'm calling y'all out because I think
mean, it's
that's what's
true.
going on here.
But it's kind of like how I felt. Like you could almost say that about like I thought Edward Norton Hulk was better than Mark Ruffalo, right? And he was only in one movie.
I didn't even like
And Mark
that.
Ruffalo.
I didn't like Edward Norton. I saw when he was casted as like
Well,
the Hulk.
him
I was
or
like, man,
even the
it's
other
like,
Hulk.
no, I didn't even like that because the whole movie I'm like, you're not the Hulk. Like I was watching it, it's like, no, this doesn't work. Like the whole time watching the movie, it's like, no, it's just
Okay,
not.
well,
This is fine. Or the other Hulk, I forgot his name.
Eric Bana. Eric Bana was a better Hulk than
Eric Bana
either of
too.
them.
let me
I thought
chime
he was
in
better
here
than
for a
Mark Ruffalo.
second because Edward Norton is younger than Mark Ruffalo.
Mhm.
Okay, they didn't go and fucking replace Edward Norton with some like young hot stud new guy on the fucking scene.
Yeah.
But that's what they're doing to Scarlett Johansson. This is a women's thing, okay? Like
No, but
I'm
Black
just
Widow,
saying-
Black
I'm
Widow
just saying.
died.
Yeah, she's
So-
already dead.
She's dead.
Yeah.
So they need to replace her sister. Is going to be
she
like,
died
I'm
in the
taking-
movie.
Not this one.
Not this one, but
In
she
Endgame.
She
died
dies
in
like
Endgame.
Well, doesn't
Yeah,
she
she's-
just like come back?
Or
Like the
Infinity War.
No.
Is it
Stone
Infinity War or
shit?
Nah.
Endgame?
No, Endgame
did.
because she went to.
Yeah.
So
get
then,
the
how
Soul
was there
Stone.
just this movie that came out?
It's a
Because this
prequel.
took
This
place
is a prequel.
during Civil War and before Infinity War.
This
That
filled a
time
gap.
frame.
This filled a time frame gap.
Yes.
Okay, so did they
And we
just
still. I'm
did she
sorry.
die in the comics?
No,
So they just killed her off, decided to go ahead and kill her off to
Well, they had
introduce
a,
this new fresh
no,
chick.
no. She died because they a soul for a soul to get the soul stone.
Right. They get, but what they could have chose anybody, right? So like there a lot of times when they decide who to kill off is either for contractual reasons, or it could be also for
Because they're getting old,
Um,
washed up.
it
I'm
could
I mean
just-
Iron Man
No,
is dead
Scarlett
too,
Johansson's still hot, so you know.
I mean, to each their own, but
Yeah. I
It has
think
Okay,
nothing
see,
to do with.
I
Now
think
you're
this-
now you're shaming Scarlett Johansson. Caitlin.
no, I think this
So
new girl's
who-
way cuter than Scarlett Johansson. But
Kate's never gotten the Scarlett Johansson.
no,
praise.
but as like a woman, like for her to finally get like, you know, her movie, and then man, nobody's fucking talking about Scarlett Johansson in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This other
because-
girl is all over the fucking place.
Well,
because it's
But
the
she did
new
kinda-
Scarlett.
yeah, she did kind of steal the show, right? So to be fair, like in the movie, like, I mean, they don't portray her in that way either.
well,
They
the
don't,
way
like-
they wrote it, they may have wanted it to.
yeah, they
you
wanted
know.
her to steal the show. Like they gave her all the good lines, they gave her the funny moments, and stuff like that. Like they wanted people to be endeared to this character. She's the one that needs help. She's the one that like is the younger sister, right? So but they, as far as the character, they portray her extremely different than Scarlett. Like Scarlett, they have her like outfit all like tight fitting and stuff still and stuff, right? But yeah, Yelena has like a very loose fitted outfit and stuff, right? Like even the way they dress, like she portrays a completely different take on Black Widow, where
Oh, until the next movie when she's gonna start to become a sex symbol.
maybe.
Where she's in a latex glove.
Exactly.
I mean, they wore that same Black Widow outfit.
Well, like look,
My whole thing.
there's when they're wearing like the white outfit and they're walking around and like in the snow and stuff. You know, like yeah, Yelena's is all baggy and stuff everywhere, right? But like Scarlett's is like the typical Black Widow stuff. So
Form fitting.
yeah.
I guess you noticed that.
No, I noticed that
It was a trap net.
Yelena was wearing a different like clothing. Yeah, I was like, okay, because they're going with a different take on this character. Like she has a different
I was gonna say
personality.
that.
Like she wore a
Yeah.
vest with pockets.
Okay, I'm
Right,
going
you
to
know?
put it out there right now. The next time that you see her, in a Black Widow movie as Black Widow, whatever, it's all gonna change.
We'll see. Maybe.
I'm just mark my words on that.
Because
Yeah,
like
I hope not. Marvel's pretty good at that though. They're pretty good at building their characters. Like if it was DC, I'll be like absolutely. But Marvel is like they tend to like take what people like about characters and they're like, okay, that's what you liked about them, okay. And then they kind of build on it. Like think about Iron Man, right? Think about like Spider-Man and
I'm thinking
Thor.
I'm thinking about the women though.
The women.
Like
let's see.
There's not a lot of women.
Feel like
There's
Black
hard to
Gamora.
compare.
There's
all
yeah,
those characters
isn't
were-
Gamora's chest out?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
There's
in
Captain
the
Marvel.
comics. In the comics, they're even less clothed, and there's more busting out. They're
And
very tight
Captain
form.
Marvel's pretty like she doesn't really have that kind of stuff, right? Then let's see who else is there. There's Captain Marvel. There's Gamora. There is
Gamora?
Yeah, but
Nebula.
I mean, they also chose Brie Larson as a.
Yeah.
Hey, leave Brie Larson.
I like Brie Larson. She's cute.
I think she's cute too.
I liked her in The Room.
Yep, that was a really good movie.
But the thing with Scarlet Witch with the Black Widow, with her character, she was very quiet, very seclusive to herself. She really didn't say too much about her past, of course, because it was dark, and who wants to remember what she went through. But we just felt more humble from the sister. She was like, she was like more humbled after, like, when she got out of the trance.
Sometimes it's just
You know,
charisma, like
and
when
she
people go
just-
on the screen.
They gave her just like that. You felt for her, and I think that's what they did with this movie, and that's why people liked it, because she really, she didn't have like Scarlett Johansson did a great job with Black Widow, as best as she could with what they gave her.
Who's cuter, Psycho?
I don't like blondes, so anyone other than a blonde.
So Scarlet.
Yeah, well, yeah, Scarlett.
Scarlett's blonde, but not in Black Widow.
Not
But
in
in
Black
real
Widow.
life, she is.
She is
No.
sometimes, and in fact, in this movie at the end, she is, because in Civil War she's blonde.
It's true.
Obviously, we know who
And
Three
Scarlett
Bits is
Johansson
cuter.
is a blonde. in
I
a
didn't
lot of
say
different movies,
anybody.
but,
I could say anybody. I want to
Mhm.
see what you guys say.
now,
He asked you a question, babe.
Yeah.
who do
Matt
I
and
think?
Psycho.
Who do I think is cuter?
Yeah.
Fancy.
You're white.
Kaitlin. I can't
Matt
answer
doesn't
that.
like blondes either.
Yeah, I'm a
so.
brunette guy.
Yeah,
So
brunette.
Scarlet.
I like black hair or brunette. This is like my thing.
I like Yelena's personality like comes through as really fun, right? And that's like what I think a lot of people like.
I'm fun, So
But I think like Scarlett is getting not the credit she deserves because
Yeah,
of-
literally.
Listen.
no, I'm not
listen.
saying from this panel. I'm
He's
saying
great.
I am.
I'm saying
No, I
I'm
know
saying
Kate is. That's
in-
why I'm trying to defend myself.
I'm saying in
ahead.
general, like people are quick to forget, right? Like because like she didn't even really get the send off she deserved in game, right? Like Iron Man he got a huge fucking send off, right? But Black Widow never really got that moment. It was always like it's like, oh, and she's gone.
I'm telling y'all, like,
Right.
if you look up on the internet about Black Widow and stuff, like, this girl is like exploding.
Yeah, because people were excited that they're like that they got it right because they knew there was going to be a replacement.
No, I just
probably.
think in general, like, even people that don't give a crap about the movie,
Oh, right. Yeah.
they're like, who is this new young girl in the scene?
I did want to answer 3-Bit's question though that I never got a chance to about what was the one thing I would change.
Uh-huh.
And I talked about it a bit last week, and that is it doesn't make sense to me because it wasn't fitting for Scarlett Johansson's character, and this is something that they did with the writing. where she blew up that building with the girl inside.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, what?
That it just
I mean,
it she would not have done that. For everything we've learned about Black Widow as a character, throughout everything, she would have done anything possible.
blew up a building with a kid in it.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah,
What kind of crap is that?
that's why people.
You like Scarlett Johansson now?
That's why Black Widow is kind of like.
All right,
eh.
she's out.
Well, hey, do you think they could have potentially put something like that in there to make it easier for people to move on from this Black
No.
Widow?
That's a good. I mean, maybe,
Oh,
maybe
It could.
because.
But she's done dark stuff in the comics though. in the
She
past.
has, but ever since this was past that, this was her getting out of that life, right? And to get out of that life, she had to make that trade. That seemed like a very selfish thing to do for her character that she has never not portrayed ever since stepping into any of the movies that we've seen. She has like done like a little bit of like secret stuff before, but always for the better good, but nothing like this. This was like dramatically like selfish for her to take
I didn't
that.
Think about that.
And it just seems so out of character from everything that we learned about that character for her to do that. And it seemed like the only reason they made her do that was to have a reason for this Taskmaster. And that's all they cared about, was to create that character, even if it was a detriment or didn't make sense for the character that did it. So I think it was just bad and out of place, and I didn't like that because it's not who we've learned who this character is. Now we just
Maybe they felt like they
maybe
could
they
get
did that.
away with it because she lived. Oh, plot twist. The girl in the building. Here's the thing. I get what you guys are saying about like Scarlett Johansson, and she was in a lot of different Marvel films and
wow,
whatnot.
Jasper just said that. I didn't miss that.
I just watched Avengers today, and there's a line that say you killed Drekhov's daughter.
So they set this up from like the Avengers.
Oh, really?
Ooh, what? Was that the girl that was in the building?
Yeah.
Was this when she was like in like at the beginning when she was like trying to get info out of the guy, you know, like
when
she was in the
When she-
chair.
being interrogated, I think so.
Wow.
I
It's
think
so
no
crazy
one
how they
really-
loop things around.
because they don't put things like they say it so nonchalantly, like you just like you're not paying attention. Like, who's this guy? Like, you don't know who he is really out until pretty much later on in this MCU.
Yeah, I guess
with
wow,
the Black
man.
Widow story. So
That's actually amazing.
Maybe that's what she's always alluding to like what stuff she wants to erase from her past.
oh well, yeah.
When she was tied up by the Russians, okay.
Wow.
Man, that okay.
That's
I
actually
take it
really cool.
back. I take it back. Fuck. I guess they already had written it in a long time ago.
Yeah.
I still don't like it. Like, I don't know. It doesn't fit. But maybe it's something that she regrets.
Yeah. I mean, okay. I still think Yelena, despite what you said, I still think Yelena would be a better Black Widow. And maybe it's just the charisma. I'm thinking about charisma wise or whatever. I'm thinking about the movies Scarlett Johansson is in, and I've always liked the other supporting character like better. I don't know. Maybe it's just her as an actress that I'm
She's just
not
not
as...
that great. I'm just kidding. I like her as an actress. I mean, she's fine. I mean, she's fine. She's whatever.
She's done great movies.
I
don't
thought
want
she was
people to
like,
come out.
man, I thought she was like so good as Black Widow. Like, because she was so serious in the role. Like, she always portrayed it like seriously. She wasn't like,
I think she's a great Black Widow. I just think
no, you nope. Can't say it now. Can't say it now.
No, I think she's a great Black Widow. I just think Elena
Nope.
might be a little
Nope.
bit better.
Nope.
I just want to
Just
know
saying.
what the hell happened in Budapest still, because we still didn't get the answers and what happened in Budapest.
They explained it a
Yeah,
little bit.
they were
said,
hiding in the like vent for days and stuff. And
Yeah, but I want to see it.
Yeah.
I want to see what happened in Budapest. You know, I wanted to see Hawkeye and Scarlet and Why am I still saying Scarlet
You
Witch?
know what? They might do that
Black Widow.
in
Hawkeye.
Hawkeye for
They
sure,
could.
because she's probably
Yeah.
gonna be hunting him in Hawkeye, and that's a good time
To
to do it.
Taskmaster?
No, the sister.
No.
Oh,
That's
yeah. I'm hoping that's a setup for something else and not the Hawkeye show, but it probably is a setup for the Hawkeye show.
No,
I think
that's who
that's a-
they need to remove is
Jeremy
Hawkeye.
Renner. Oh,
Yeah.
he's getting replaced by what's her name?
Haley Steinfeld.
Haley
A
Stanfield.
girl? Oh, it's his daughter, right?
Isn't it? It's not his daughter, right?
Thought
Kate
it
Bishop.
was.
Is it Kate? It's Kate Bishop, right? It's Kate Bishop isn't
She's
I thought it
his
was.
daughter.
is
That's
it?
what I
Why is
thought.
there a different last name?
I don't
'Cause
know.
his name's Clint Barton.
Again, replacing someone for a younger model.
Well, this has precedent with the comics and stuff.
Yeah,
too.
I'm just-
like
I'm
it's a
just
kid. It's
guessing.
like a kid or teenage girl or
Yeah.
She's not a
Young-
I
kid.
still think
Oh, they're
Jillian
partners.
Lewis Dreyfus, is that her name? Jillian Lewis
Yeah,
Dreyfus?
Elaine.
Elaine. I think she's they're setting her up to be Madam Hydra and setting up Dark Avengers. I watched something else today and they were thinking that it's gonna be Dark Avengers. Because you got
U.S.
the
agent.
guys- Well,
So
US
a Dark
agent, Elaine-
Avengers, would that kind of be like a Suicide Squad?
Mm,
It's
Wow,
Different.
that's actually a great idea that I just
'Cause
came
it's-
up with.
it
a
has the guy
su-
from what's his name?
You know, the
guy-
Suicide Squad of Marvel.
Yeah, they
That is
kind of have
fantastic.
they kind of have teams like that. This is more of like a team of the like Avenger like people that have are
Yeah, I'm just
almost
talking
like
about a whole separate situation here.
It kind of is kind of like the Suicide Squad. Like
they're being
Venom is in
manipulated.
it. Yelena is in it, and like Bullseye and some other people are in it. So it's kind of like the
Who was in
kind of what it sounds like, the Dark Avengers. They're
No, I will tell. When does Venom come out?
Venom
I
this
don't know.
year.
Much.
That's a good
I'm not
segue.
sure.
I
And-
will go see that one with you because I think that looks really good.
Okay, so
please.
that's a good segue because the next thing I wanted to talk about is what's coming for DC, because we talk so
Okay.
much Marvel on here, and rightfully so. But
That's because they're the most.
So are we? No, no.
September
no, Venom.
24 comes out. September
September?
24, Kate.
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
I'll go see that with
It's
you,
gonna-
babe, for sure.
okay, so that's next from Marvel, and then we have a few other Marvel movies coming out, and then we have DC movies. But the thing is, like, why I wanted to talk about DC is because there's like, we know this whole timeline of all these movies coming out from Marvel that are, you know, in sequence, and we know they're in kind of somewhat of order, right? And like they all make sense. But then, like, I was looking through, and here's what we have right now for DC. We have the Suicide Squad movie from James Gunn, which is a sort of reboot, sort of sequel, sort of thing. It's a retake, I
Yeah.
guess. I don't know what to call it, but
It's a yeah. I mean, it's kind of like.
it's got Idris Elba in it, so Kate will probably be interested. Then we have and that's coming in 2021 this year, August. That's soon. Wow, that's like a couple weeks away. August 6th. Then
Holy
we have
crap.
the Batman, which comes out March 4th of 2022. I
Is
personally,
that the
that's Robert Pattinson.
Is that the? Yeah.
I personally am extremely excited about this movie. I know a lot of people are not sold on the theme or Robert Pattinson as Bruce Wayne or Batman.
No, I think he could be the best possibly. We'll see.
And I personally, I have a lot of high hopes for this. The Riddler's the main protagonist. I love the vibe of the
Love
trailer.
the Riddler.
The trailer gave me fucking chills. I mean, that trailer, like, I was like, dude, I was, oh my God, this looks like what I've always wanted. Because it had that, like, dark vibe of like the cartoons and the shows from like the 90s and stuff, but it had that like edgy like personality and stuff grounded in like a realism kind of thing, which Batman always was. But you know, like
I really miss
Really
like
like it.
the old Batmans where they included like, you know, the Riddler, Penguin, all those people.
Yeah, I'm hope. Okay, so what Lady Foxfire, another lady, said, most of the things on DC feel separate. I completely agree
yeah.
with.
Mm-hmm.
We have so many. We have some DC movie. It's so confusing right now because you have the Zack Snyder verse, where you have Ben Affleck, Gal Gadot, Jason Momoa, Ezra, and then whoever else I might be missing. You have those actors, and then they're supposed to be the Snyderverse, but then they're like, Snyder, we don't want you to direct our movies, but we're still gonna sort
Use your
of
characters.
still sort of use their characters.
Yeah.
So we're gonna make it Aquaman 2. We're gonna make Wonder Woman 19 whatever.
Black Adam's in the
84.
Shazam universe, right? So
Shazam, and we're gonna have these characters. They're kind of connected, but then we're gonna make another Batman, and we're gonna make another Joker, and these are not connected at all. And you have to decipher it because this is our law. This is what we say. That's super confusing. It's confusing because of Marvel for the most part, because Marvel, everything is connected. You can watch like the TV shows, you can watch the movies, and at some point they are connected on this one timeline, which makes it kind of cool. It makes it feel like you are a part of something big.
But would it be
yeah.
boring if they both did the same thing, you know?
I want DC to do that actually.
Yeah.
Because it feels like
each
when you're watching a
movie's more
TV show.
important.
Yeah, when you're watching a TV show, you kind of want to know what happens in the
Like
next
everything's
episode.
part of a bigger thing than
Yeah.
just what
Yeah.
you're watching.
Yeah, I kind of want that for DC, because they're kind of disheveled right now. Like even the Batman movie that's about to come out, we're about to talk about. It may not even get a sequel because the actor is fighting with the director. And it may not even have any future Batman
Robert
movies.
Pattinson's fighting
I
with
didn't
Matt
know
Reeves.
that.
Yeah, Robert Pattinson is fighting with Matt Reeves, and Warner Brothers told them to make up so that
What are
could-
they fighting about? Did he not tell him how awesome he is before he goes on set? Like this stuff like always confuses me, how these actors and directors
Well,
and
I've
stuff
seen
have so many
rumors.
conflicts.
You did not take out the blue M&Ms in the bowl of M&Ms. I'm done. I'm done with this shit.
I'm allergic to M&Ms. No,
Because
I
he's
don't
a great
know.
actor, like and stuff. You know what I mean? He's worked with great directors too. I'm not talking about Twilight, guys. I
No,
mean, there's
people
other stuff that he's
Hear
been
or
in.
see Robert Pattinson, they just think like teen vampire movie.
Yeah.
No, he's a great actor. He's been
Yeah.
in a lot of good stuff. I remember seeing rumors a long time ago. I don't know if these rumors are true or not, and I will put that stamp here, that it may not be true. But I remember seeing rumors a long time ago that Matt Reeves was telling him he needs to be buffer for Batman, and Robert Pattinson is like, no, I don't want to. And then they fought over that, and then Robert protested and like not working out at all for the role, and he was like eating profusely and all that.
Okay.
Just
That's
trying
a
to live
rumor
his
I
best
saw.
life.
So
That's a
we're
rumor
gonna
I
get
saw.
chunky Batman.
So this is
I don't know.
Robert Pattinson reportedly refused. This is from WeGotThisCovered.com. So Robert
I remember seeing that a long
Pattinson
time ago.
reportedly refuses to work with Matt Reeves again. This is from July 10th. He says, in case you didn't know, rumors are around. Again, these are all rumors, people. So this could have zero credibility in reality, but this is what it says. Rumors are around that Robert Pattinson and Matt Reeves hate each other. That sounds like strong words. Hate is a very strong word, but insider sources are confident that this is the case, with the pair allegedly butting heads due to Reeves' perfectionism. Apparently, this hate has now materialized into more. Sources close to We Got This Covered stated that the disdain Pattinson and Reeves have for each other has grown so far that Pattinson has reportedly stated he does not want to work with Reeves again until he receives an apology. Now, I'm not a movie director, but for the director and main star of a movie to have such a strained relationship can certainly spell trouble, especially if the star storms offset. They misspelled off. It shouldn't have to, though, with the Batman wrapping up filming earlier this year after a challenging filming schedule filled with delays and COVID-19 disruptions. Nevertheless, the film looks like it was worth the trouble. I agree. And it says, we're hoping that these rumors of infighting are simply that, just rumors. If the trailer is an accurate depiction of what the movie is going to look like, then it seems like the fighting may have not impacted the quality. I'm gonna.
The press tour should be real interesting to see.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's some actors. I remember, was it Christian Bale? He didn't go on an acting tour, or I think it was Christian Bale for certain movies. He was like, I'm not going on the tour at all, and then he would fight the studios about it. And then Robert Downey to some extent would also do it, but he, it's Marvel. You gotta do some press. That's the problem with DC is internally they are not structured at all. You think about Space Jam, they hired the director like he had a week or 2 weeks to read the script before directing it. Like Warner Brothers does not know what they're doing. and they are not structured at all, or understand what the fans want for the most part. And I find it's amazing that they can somehow pull out these hits like Dark Knight or Watchmen or V for Vendetta, like Last Emperor has said. Those are amazing movies. Love Man of Steel as well. But they are just an unstructured mess as a company. And I really want, like, because I love DC, I really want them to have a universe, not even Snyderverse, really. I want them to have a universe it's very kind of like the shows, but just bigger budget, and have a universe and stop trying to skip to the ending of stories just because you think audiences are getting bored. Like they've done that with so many other stories, like especially Superman's death. Like you kill Superman in like the third appearance that he's in, or maybe it was the second.
Second, I think.
You literally kill a character the second time we see him.
It was the third, because Man of Steel, it was Batman versus Superman, then Justice League.
Well, he dies in Batman.
No, yeah, that's right. It was second. Fuck. So you're right, dude.
So he died in the second time we even seen him. So Iron Man, that was such, people was crying in the theater like when they saw Iron Man die, and that's because we've had so many movies with that dude, and they've earned it. They literally have earned it. Like we've seen him be super arrogant when we first met him. He was just like a rich playboy, philanthropist, whatever, billionaire. And we've seen his growth as a character, and then towards Endgame, he had a family, and he's changed over time, and we got to see that change. With Superman, we had 2 movies, and Warner Brothers doesn't. That's what I mean. When Warner Brothers doesn't really know what, they don't have a goal. They don't have like a plan, like a phase, like Marvel.
They're experimenting.
Like, I'm planning something in episode 1 that I'm gonna later show in like episode 30. That's what Marvel does, and DC is like, let's skip to episode 30. So
they I think Warner Brothers definitely jumped in onto Zack Snyder to be like, all right, we know your premise of what you want to do. I think we need to shorten it by like 6 movies and just do it in 2. And so this way,
he's like, okay, I'll make it 4 hours.
We'll get that payoff, and people will love DC again, and we'll be bigger than Marvel. And it's like Warner Brothers is like delusional with what their vision is, And I mean, look at Justice League was supposed to be a 3-part movie, and they were trying to kill it in one. And when Zack Snyder had to step off and then gave us that Josh Whedon story of a movie, and then the Snyder cut comes out and then totally crushes that movie, and then everyone's like blown, and then Warner Brothers is still like, yeah, but we don't like that kind of stuff. We like, we like what we're doing, and then we're gonna keep doing it, and then you're gonna lose people. It just your fans are gonna get pissed off, and then eventually they're just not going to be like, do you want to see this? No, we'll wait for it to come out on DVD.
It's kind of weird because it's like DC is actually giving a lot of creative freedom to the directors and stuff, it seems like, because the movies are so different from each other. But at the same point, then they are not, because then they go and undermine the directors before the movies come out, right?
We've seen a hint of that with Doctor Strange, and then Marvel's like, no.
Yeah. But like a lot of and it's crazy because some of the same directors that make the Marvel movies have made movies for DC, but like with way less of an impact, right? And it's because like Marvel has this like overarching production that oversees what the directors are individually doing, right? Where it's like less, they have this whole thing that they started when they started Marvel Studios. Like it's on Disney Plus, you can watch. There's a documentary about starting Marvel Studios and like some of the first movies and what they did and what their ideas were and how they were planned on starting it and what the big thoughts were to happen and how they started adding more and how they have to storyboard all this stuff and come up with these ideas for years in the future and all this stuff. And there's like, that is what would be necessary for DC to do in order to have the same impact. But instead, they're just having the same old approach of, okay, here, go make a DC. You want to make a DC movie? Okay. You want to make a DC movie? Okay. You want to make a DC movie? Okay. Let's get a DC movie
hurts
made.
Them, dude, because they have so many, like Henry Cavill, they're wasting.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't even going to be Superman anymore. They're thinking about replacing him. They're like, no, we might want him back. Like they're wasting time with that. And they just are not the best at making decisions. I don't know who's over there, but they suck.
Yeah, and the one thing, like Jesse B said, there is the silver lining to that is we do get some more different experiences with the characters and stuff, different takes on them than we do with Marvel. So that's the benefit. That's the positive side of it. But for me, like having that whole cinematic universe tied in together like outweighs that personally. Now, also going into DC stuff coming soon. Next year, we get Black Adam. That's on July 29th, 2022. One thing that they got right was Shazam. Shazam was fucking awesome.
Yeah, that was good.
I loved it. I actually loved it even more the second time we watched it.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Or maybe it was the third time we watched it. I don't know.
They did a great job with that movie.
Did you see the fan-made like ending credit for Shazam, where they showed black suit Superman coming into the lunchroom like they did in the regular?
I saw it wasn't black suit, but I saw the regular suit.
Yeah, well, a fan made this, so it was black, but at the end it showed Harry Cavill, the entire actor, as Superman, and not from the neck down, like
really?
they did in the movie. Yeah, so I was just like, cool. Why can't freaking Warner Brothers just do that instead of what they gave us? Like,
that's cool.
You're telling me that you couldn't get Henry Cavill for? You think Henry Cavill would be like, I need $20 million to do that? You know, he would have been like, yeah, I would have make a 2-second appearance in the movie at the end.
Yeah,
if they asked.
Yeah. And we have The Flash, November 4th, 2022. I have no idea what to expect from the Flash movie, so I have an open mind.
Is Grant gonna be the actor in the movie?
No, it's gonna be the Flash from Justice League, Ezra Miller, which I was not sold on before. Right, I did not like him before as the Flash, but
he was terrible.
The Snyder cut redeemed him for me because he had the heroic moment and he showed that he can take, like, in the original movie is like he was a bumbling idiot. You know what I mean? It was like, what the heck? Like he's not even using his powers.
Snyder Cut gave him heart.
Yeah, the Snyder Cut gave him like that. Okay, he's legitimized, right? Like he has a more of an arc of his story now. He has more things and he has more capabilities and stuff. Like they got that right. So we'll see. The Flash movie, I'm really curious about, and I want to see where it goes. There's lots of possibilities from that movie that could go further into cool DC stuff, right? But we'll see. And then there's Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, and that's next December. So next year is gonna be huge for DC because they got fucking 4 Bat movies. So there's the Batman, there's Black Adam, the Flash, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, and then early June of the next, June 2nd of 2023. So yeah, it's Shazam: Fury of the Gods, which I'm excited for that. And then to be announced, Wonder Woman 3, and then an untitled Superman reboot. And then something called Zatanna, and then Blue Beetle. Those are what's planned right now. And Batgirl, and Blackhawk.
See, with all of those movies, we don't know what's connected and what's not. That's
and it's all of these other ones say to be determined or to be announced, right? So who knows? Like, would this be a good time to get into the origins of FunPop?
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it Black? Was it Bat Girl or
it says Batgirl? It says Batgirl. It says
Batwoman?
to be announced. Directors are Adil El Arbi and Bilal Falah.
I think that was trending on Twitter today, like the casting of the actress.
Thought they would make it politically correct and go Batwoman like they did the TV show, which is garbage.
Yeah, I mean, Zatanna should be interesting. I wonder how they're gonna do that. If they're gonna like really stick to like the source material or what, or if Bruce Wayne and stuff is gonna be in it, because I know it's they are very much tied with each other. She's like a magician and stuff like that. So that'd be interesting. But yeah, let's talk about the origins of FunPop.
Okay, origins of FunPop. Chilling with 3-Bit and Psycho late on a Friday night, I think, after playing some Halo. Everybody is left. Everybody is gone. We're about to go to bed, and we get into a deep discussion on a movie that we all just saw. That was Wonder Woman 84. And we had so much fun talking about that movie that we... at that point, I was like, hey guys, like I wanted to start like a movie TV show, like Marvel, DC podcast type deal. Like you guys would be perfect, you know? Would y'all want to do it? And they said, yeah. So that's how we came up with the idea. Then we waited a few weeks and then finally picked a date, right? And we did it. But at that point, Wonder Woman 84 had already gone by and we didn't really talk about it that much.
Yeah.
So now that we're talking about the future of DC, which could potentially include Wonder Woman 3 with Gal Gadot, is it time to just discuss Wonder Woman 84 just a little bit?
We'll talk about it a little bit, and then we'll talk about the future of Wonder Woman.
Okay. Wonder Woman 84. What's Pedro Pascal? Right? Is that his name?
Yes.
Yeah, great actor. He's great in a lot of things, right?
I loved him in Game of Thrones. Loved him.
The Manda fucking Lorian, right? The Manda fucking Lorian himself. Love him in a lot of stuff.
Taking care of a lot of kids lately.
But
think about it.
What's that?
He's taking care of a lot of kids lately. You think about in Last of Us 2,
There
he's
you go,
taking care
and
of
your
Baby Yoda. Okay.
Baby
He's a
Yoda.
big-
In Wonder Woman
It's like,
84,
Is he
he's taking
running a
care of
daycare? I
kid.
don't know.
He wasn't taking care of his
He
son.
wasn't taking
He
care
was
of his
like-
kid. He was
I
getting
mean, he was
the
like,
fuck
hey,
out of him.
Hey, I'm
He was-
bouncing.
He was doing the
got-
opposite of trying to take care of his
I gotta
kid.
go
Well-
take over the world.
He literally
With-
only stopped
with
because his
wishes.
kid. He was like, oh, with his kid. So
Um, now,
Stop.
what was his name in the movie? Because I don't even remember. It's the Wishman. Is it the? He's the Wishmaster.
He was the Wishman. I
Yeah,
call
but
him
I
Wishmaster.
forget his character name.
The
now
Wisher.
it's somebody from the comics, I'm sure. But that character was the stupidest thing I've seen in a superhero movie. Period. That character was like, I liked it. To be frank, I still had fun watching the movie because it's a superhero movie, and I enjoy watching all of these superhero movies, even if they're stupid. But his character was like the most idiotic thing that they could have possibly thought of, and he acted in the most stupid way possible throughout the movie that it was completely distracting. And I was just like, what the fuck is this? And does nobody see a problem here? You know what it reminded me of? You know what his portrayal of the Wishmaster reminded me of? Emo Peter Parker from Spider-Man 3. You know, remember how distracting... Remember how distracting on the screen that was? And you're seeing Tobey Maguire, like, does nobody see a problem with this? Like, is somebody see something wrong here? Can somebody say cut and like, hey, maybe we should have rethought this scene and how he looks and how he's acting like a moron? That was Pedro Pascal in the entire movie of Wonder Woman 84 for me.
Give me your wishes.
What other problems does the movie have?
I mean, okay. The movie has a lot of problems. It literally launched this podcast. It made us so frustrated we had to start a whole podcast about it.
Yes, it did.
Right?
It freaking did.
Like, FunPop only exists because of Wonder Woman 84 and how frustrated we were with that movie. It was so bad we had to start this podcast and talk about like how bad Warner Brothers is sometimes, right?
Yes, unfortunately,
unfortunately, like
I wanted to love that movie. I really freaking wanted to love that movie, and it was just like the premise, with Cheetah, awesome. That's a classic Wonder Woman villain, awesome. Who the fuck is Wishmaster, and why do I have to give him my wishes? What?
Just
like one woman's like, I wish you were dead, and he dies, and then she's like, oh shit.
And the whole concept that everybody would actually give up their wishes is just like stupid as well. Like, you know what I mean? There's not one person out there that's still selfish enough to keep their wish, right? Because they see this person on TV pleading to them, and everybody happened to be watching TV at that time, right?
Yeah.
It's so dumb. It has so many plot holes. It's not even, the movie just has like a bunch of just holes in it. It's just like cheese or something.
Yeah, it was.
It's such a bad movie, and it made me realize stuff. Like, when I watched that movie, first I thought Patty Jenkins would be great.
Yes.
And she still might be. Not as
was she the writer though, or she just directed?
No, she was director.
The first one she was like directing, but she didn't write it. This one she wrote and directed, and you can tell.
Yes.
Like, please don't ever do that again.
Yes. Great director, bad writer. Great director, bad writer.
It just isn't your strong suit. Like, please, if Warner Brothers is listening to this, don't ever let her write another script for you guys again. Because wow, Wonder Woman 84, the best part of the movie was the very beginning, in my opinion, when she was a little kid and she was in the games or whatever, and it was all about like, hey, don't cheat. She's like, no. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah,
that was the coolest part of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
It went downhill from there, and that was only like 5 minutes or 10 minutes in the movie. It went. It made me realize a couple things. First off, I think Gal Gadot is great. I think she is so attractive, right?
Yes.
She is one of my crushes. I think she's great.
Obviously,
However,
along with Florence Pugh.
Um, oh yeah,
Oh
I
my
didn't
gosh.
say. I
Gal
never picked.
Gadot.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, who'd you pick, 3-bit?
Yeah, I picked Florence. Yeah, she's great.
Gal Gadot is tops all of them though.
Yeah,
She
yeah,
does.
she's great. However, with that in mind, Kate,
Yes.
when she was first announced as Wonder Woman, I thought, why is she Wonder Woman?
Why is
Now
the chick
she's
from Fast and Furious and Wonder Woman?
yes. Why is she Wonder Woman? That was my first thought. I'm like, okay, I guess, like, because when you're playing Wonder Woman, you have to have really good acting. You have to have like charisma and all this different stuff. And in Fast and Furious, she was terrible. I'm not gonna lie. She was really bad.
She was just like the model they stuck in the movie, you know?
Yeah, she was just like there, right? But in the first Wonder Woman, she did good. I was like, okay, cool. Not bad. When I watched 1984, and it wasn't even her fault, it was the director's fault. I will admit that. But I'm like, okay, and now I'm ready for another one.
Yeah.
Just because of how bad that movie is, it just put a bad taste in my mouth. I'm like, okay, you guys could go in a whole other direction with this now. And I'll be completely fine with if she was never Wonder Woman again. I probably shouldn't say this because maybe I'll meet her one day and then she will watch this. And then
I'm sure that will happen.
This is like,
No,
she's
it's
like the
3-bit.
perfect Wonder Woman to me. It was like a
She is.
detriment to her because her, like, she was the best
That's
part of
such a
this.
bad movie. It put such a bad taste in my mouth.
I mean, the lines were written for her. She's told what to do. She's portraying Wonder Woman very well in this movie still, right? All of her lines where she's going around talking about the art, like the crystal and all this stuff, like she's that playing the like more of the like museum like
Caretaker.
Diana, right? She's playing that character very well, right? Still. But the villains and stuff and like the things with Chris Pine all of a sudden, you know, and she's like, they wrote her like portraying like a lot of weakness and stuff, you know, like it's, I don't know. I think the writers just
It could be the writing because that writing was just so bad. Yeah, I was just like, okay, I need a break from you guys for a bit. It's like that was such a bad movie. Like it reminded me of like Last Airbender. If anybody remembers that movie, of how bad that was, that made me
I didn't care
question
to watch it.
M. Night Shyamalan for a while. Like, I was like, M. Night, I think you're a terrible director and all this different stuff. And he redeemed himself. So I just need Gal Gadot and then whoever's over there, WB, just redeem yourself, pull an M. Night, and come back strong. Because 84 was like down there for me, like of the airbenders of Ong and all that craziness. Yeah, I don't know. 84 is absolutely terrible.
Yeah, I can't. I agree with you totally. I didn't like I like Cheetah. The Cheetah aspect was good.
Yeah, Kristen Wiig was a good actress in it too.
That like because in the beginning I was like, well, in the comics, Cheetah was like kind of looked like a cheetah, you know. And then we saw her take the formation towards the end. And I was like, all right, cool. But it was just like everything else. It's just like they could almost never had the Wishmaster in there as a villain. Really didn't need it. They could have just done away with that and had the crystal and set up her stories.
They always try to go big, dude. Warner Brothers has that problem.
It didn't make sense. I know, and I know in the comics he's a bigger villain than what this movie was. So he had a bigger impact in the comics than what fucking the movie, and it was just like they just lost it. They could have brought him into like the second one, you know, Wonder Woman, you know, 96 or something. Who knows? and they could have like, you know, where'd the crystal go? You know, I mean, like he could have taken it and that was it. And to set up Wishmaster at another time instead of you putting him in this one, in this movie. Like I didn't get the story. I just didn't get it.
Yeah. They always try to go big. Like instead of having like a condensed story in 1984, maybe there's one villain with the cheetah. What they probably should have done, and we could go just ask the same question, like what would you have done differently? If I had the script for Wonder Woman 84 and I saw that, first off, I would start over. But if I had to use some elements of what I got, I would keep the beginning because I thought the beginning was awesome. And then what I would do is first off, doing a whole movie with the wishes and all that, that is just you. If you're gonna have that, make it so I have a character who can just wish for anything. You are opening yourself up to a lot of plot holes. And the whole movie, you would just have to be patching those plot holes. So I wouldn't even do it in the first place. I would take that out completely if I was the writer. Just because you're just opening yourself up just for failure. What I would do is condense the movie into it being mostly about her and Cheetah, because Cheetah is one of her biggest villains in the comics. They have a very big rivalry in the comics, and we saw that in the movie for the most part, but the movie was so disjointed with where its focus was trying to lie that it sort of went in the background at that point before you can even care about it. So if I was writing a movie, I would say like push that wish stuff out of the whole movie and just focus on Wonder Woman and the cheetah. Maybe make it like have some of the same themes. I thought it was interesting how they both work together. And she was like trying to impress, and she was like insecure. I thought that was kind of cool. So you can have that some of those aspects, and maybe over time she realizes that Diana is just different from her, and she's like looks up to her. You can still have those aspects, just and that could, if you focus in on that, that could be like even more interesting for the most part. Just make it about those two, because I don't know I don't remember what the villain's main name was. I would have to look it up.
The Mandalorian.
The Mandalorian dude.
Maxwell Lord is Maxwell Lord.
That's what it was.
Oh yeah.
Was the character's name, but Maxwell Lord in the comics was bigger than what we freaking got in this movie.
But they always like doing big stuff, Psycho. That's my problem with DC. They always want to go big and immediately. They're like, oh, it's the second movie. All right, look, we already did one movie. Let's make it so everybody, you know.
It's like they thought that
they were trying to play catch up.
Yep.
But they can't do that. They can't freaking play catch up. If they wanted to play catch up, they would have started just after the MCU started, and been like, this let's start doing something along the lines of what the Marvel is doing. Not do it exactly, but they could have started and given us a cohesive storyline where all these movies blended together somehow, and given us something to be excited for with DC characters. But the Warner Brothers goes the opposite way and gives us half-baked stories that has some of them, like with Wonder Woman 84, doesn't make sense half the time. And I'm just like, and you're just like, what did I just? And they hyped that movie up like it's the next best superhero movie known to man. And I'm like, yo, no, that's not what we got.
Right.
That's not what we got. The story was awfully executed, and it was just easily they could have taken Maxwell Lord, his story plot, everything. They could have saved that for another movie, had a tension between Wonder Woman and Cheetah, and given us an excellent movie with that. and started and gone off that route, and then set up, haha, well, like, oh, the crystal's gone. Now where's Maxwell Lord? Where's he at? It was, and they could have set something up for another movie with Wonder Woman, and it would have been, people would have probably, it would have went off a lot better than
Yeah.
what we, and then because it just got muddied. You're trying to do this and this and this. I didn't like it. I just really freaking didn't. And I'm a DC guy, and
I was a DC guy for. Okay, that's not true. I love DC. I love a lot of aspects about DC. I love Batman for the most part. And I love Superman. But I love the interpretations of the cartoons more. And like, I think Back from Dead, he's talking about like Smallville. I love Smallville. That's one of my favorite Supermans, like with not Henry Cavill, Tom Welling as Clark Kent. I think he killed it as Superman, and he does not get enough recognition as that character for sure. So I love that stuff. It's just the focus of the movie department they really need help with. And when you're thinking about Marvel versus DC, most of the time you think about the movies, because that's what a lot of the casual audience sees. That's what a lot of the fans sees. If we're talking about the animated stuff, DC kills that. They absolutely are dominating like the animated TV shows. Even like Marvel's just now sort of getting into like bringing in their movies into like the TV show format. Like they've sort of done it in the past with like Agents of Shield and Daredevil and stuff like that, but that was still sort of like kind of separate in a way. It wasn't like super connected to the Marvel universe. I would count like starting from I guess Agents of Shield if you really want to count that, and then Loki and WandaVision. I would count like these are like the TV shows versus the DC shows. I do know DC wants to compete against Marvel with the TV shows. I remember on one of the episodes we talked about how DC is trying to invest a lot of money into certain shows so that they can compete against
DC
Marvel.
Titans is pretty awesome.
Yeah. I think I've seen a couple of, I might have watched season 1 of Titans. But yeah, the movies DC, I don't know, Marvel just kills it. Now I know a lot of you guys have mentioned a lot of good examples of what DC has done. They've done an Oscar-winning movie, right? They've done Dark Knight.
Yeah,
that was amazing. One of the best movies, not just comic book movies. That's one of the best movies,
yeah,
in my opinion, out there. And that's a DC movie. I will give credit to that. However, when you're talking about like as a brand and like as like the characters itself, I want to see them grab the inspiration that they are using for these shows, for these comic books. And I want to see it in multiple movies.
All right.
And I want to see it like Marvel. Yeah.
So I want to read something. This is the Maxwell Lord's storybook comic version. All right, this is him. I'll read some of it. Oh, it's a little paragraph. So Maxwell Lord was first met Diana Prince as part of Justice League in Justice League 1 and has been a thorn in her side ever since. After the Invasion crossover, Lord was one of the many humans to gain supernatural abilities, and his with the newfound power of mind control. Fast forward the events of Infinite Crisis, and you get one of the most compelling, diverse Wonder Woman plot lines, and it also happens to be one of the biggest storylines between the pair. After Lord uses his powers to influence Superman's mind, he attacks and nearly kills Batman and Wonder Woman. She narrowly escapes and narrowly escapes Superman's wrath and seeks out Lord. Tying him up with her lasso, she tells him to stop. And he continues to refuse, telling her the only way to stop me is to kill me. And Wonder Woman does so, snapping his neck. Unbeknownst to her, it's broadcast to the world using the Batman's Brother Eye Project. Holy shit. Did we get that? No. We did not fucking get that.
Instead, he's a genie.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Genie the fucking bottle. You got one wish. Tell me what it is, and then you die. Like, what the fuck? Sorry.
It was, like here's the thing, right? Dark Knight was great, right? It was one of the best movies.
One of the best movies of all time.
But like the Infinity Saga has way more impact, right? Than one movie. So like let's get imagine that if Dark Knight was just one piece to like this grander puzzle of like 20 movies. You know what I mean? Like that's what we could have got,
But can you blame them for not wanting to do exactly what
yes.
Marvel's doing? Okay.
I can't.
So,
like
okay, so this is definitely what the fans, which I consider like you guys, want.
You're gonna have like the fanboys like out of anything, just like with gaming consoles, with everything that just
I just mean fans of all of it in general,
right? That just make excuses no matter what a company does.
Kate,
right?
these stories, these characters come from comic books, and these comic books are usually like a series. Like think of like Harry Potter, right? When just imagine like they only made one Harry Potter movie. You're like, what the heck? Right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like the same thing. Like Batman has so many amazing stories that people,
but they just keep making like new Batmans and telling the same story.
Yeah, that's my issue with DC, because they have like a beginning and end. Like, we'll do some of the beginning, we'll maybe do the end, and they just skip like so much in the middle. That's my problem, and that's my best example for DC. Because they just
they did that with Superman. Look at that. They gave him origins, and then they're like, oh, he died. He's back to life.
You're not even kidding. They literally gave him an origin story and then killed him in the next movie.
That's it. Welcome to DC. Like, hold on, what?
Like, I'm not even, that's not even an exaggeration. Man of Steel, they introduced him as a character, and then in the next movie, they killed him off. So that's what I mean by like DC's nonsense.
I'm interested in BAC's question. He said, how many guys cried at the end of Endgame?
It was a lot.
Oh, I cried.
Did you cry during Dark Knight?
No. It's rare for me to cry on movies. Like Iron Man got me. I cared about him.
Yeah, imagine you had like a 20 movie lead up to Dark Knight, building things up, and then Batman died at the end of it. Would you have cried potentially? Like that's what my point is. Like, there's just so much more weight. If only you just saw Endgame, and you didn't see anything else, do you think you would have that emotional attachment to Iron Man? There's no way possible.
Do you feel like because of the way Marvel does it, you get way more invested?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's everything has.
It's kind of like watching a TV show.
Yeah.
It's like when you're watching like
you get attached to people and
like imagine Kate, you watch Good Girls, right? And you just skip you watch season or one episode of like season 1, and then you skip to season 3.
Yeah.
That's what DC does.
No, imagine if, let's say, okay, Batman and we got Man of Steel. All right, great movie, love it. Batman versus Superman. All right, let's take out the death part and with the Doomsday part, and we got a story plot here. We're introduced to Flash, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, and Cyborg. New characters. They have not introduced into the DCU yet. And then the next movie, boom, it's freaking all of them together. Like, here they are. They didn't give us like like each individual movies after, like Aquaman, Flash, Cyborg. Wonder Woman. I mean, Wonder Woman and Aquaman, the only two I think came out before, I believe, before Justice League.
Aquaman
Like,
came
and
out
that
after.
after, so
Yeah.
there you go. So they don't give us those characters, tie them in, then do like a Batman versus Superman after bringing out these movies. Then you're like, oh, they know about these, we know the backstories of these characters, so you
Yeah.
don't have to do a backstory in like a Justice League or something. And they could have done freaking the DCU so much more justice if they set it up that way and gave us a couple stories and something to, like, all right, I feel okay, I know these guys, but it's just they fucking
Yeah,
and
we
they
still don't
and
have the
Zack-
Flash movie.
and but Zack Snyder kind of does it in his way with his Snyder cut of Justice League. We kind of got a backstory of a better backstory with uh, God, with Cyborg, and we got a little bit with Flash. Major plot, and those shots were already filmed, and Warner Brothers looked at them like, no, we don't like those. Like, that's not going to be in our movie. And we decided to go out with Josh Whedon's, and it was just like, it was a total, Warner Brothers is just a total mess when it comes to their own freaking or DC properties that they're handling. And it's like,
Do they
if I
have
was-
less of a budget?
no, it's Warner Brothers.
Not
I'm
really.
sorry.
Actually, let me see. I know they
Well, I think MCU's budget has grown over time.
I'm just
Yeah,
curious, like, who has the bigger budget here?
well, definitely Marvel.
But
Well, Marvel now.
the Marvel probably does now, but like regardless of that, they got to this point because of the movies they were making,
Mhm.
right? Not because they had a bigger budget to begin with. They went by trying it by doing a couple movies first. They didn't know if it was going to work, but they planned it out accordingly. Like, if it is going to work, this is our plan. The thing is, DC, the movies have been successful financially. Just some of them not critically, because they have skipped steps. They're taking shortcuts. They're like, okay, let's go ahead and we're gonna do the Man of Steel. That was great. A lot of people enjoyed that. That was a great first step, right? They never gave Batman his own fucking movie. It's the next biggest character in the entire saga that you're trying to create, and he didn't even get his own movie. And instead, the first time you see him, he's trying to kill Superman. Like, that's the first time you see this Batman. Is all he wants to do is kill Superman. That's a great way to introduce this character to the world, like that, to have you kind of grow and start to love this character. Like, there's just, they skipped everything. The Joker sucked that they created, and he has no backstory or any kind of like thought of what kind of character they're trying to make him. So he just comes across as weird, right?
It's bad.
Then you get Wonder Woman introduced, which we didn't have any kind of like inkling, but you could see there was something there, and they ran with that, right? And they did good with that character, but that's because they actually took the time and make the movies. Like, they actually did the movies. We never got the Batman movies. We never got the other Superman movies, right? We never got the Flash movie. We got Aquaman, which people enjoyed. A lot of people liked it. But we got that after this. Like, they didn't have the build up, right? We had how many movies before the first Avengers? Was it like 5 or 6? I don't even remember. But there was several that told the backstory, and to get us to know Thor. We got to know Iron Man. We got to know Captain America, right? And then we got to know who Black Widow is. We got to know who Hawkeye is, right? Like, They introduced everybody, then put them together, and then introduced more. Then it became, okay, a storytelling elements, storytelling storyboard where you keep going and going and going and going, and it keeps building and it keeps building and it keeps building into this massive thing that we have now. DC's like, okay, let's make Superman. Let's make this into something. This is going to be something. Okay, next thing, what sounds cool? What's going to sell? Batman's going to try and kill Superman. That was a popular comic. Let's go with that one, right?
Yeah.
Instead of like actually caring about the medium of storytelling and what works. It's not just about copying the MCU. It's about trying to treat the characters with respect. And if you're trying to create,
but they don't want to copy
right.
the MCU so bad that it hurts them. Like, I remember seeing an article about this a long time ago. I think they even like backed it up. Like, they don't want to be Marvel. They don't want to be the MCU. In terms of, but they don't want to be the MCU in terms of like how they built their movies. And you can tell that with like movies like Harley Quinn is so different from Marvel, or Wonder Woman 84. But I think they would really benefit from just sucking it up and following Marvel's formula, because Marvel proved it worked. And comic books are like chapters in a book, or like a Harry Potter or something like that. Like, they are stories that can span for many movies, or it's kind of like basically like a TV show. Like, you watch one movie, you're like, okay, I'm looking forward to the next one. I think in terms of comic book movies, it fits the most, more so than any other genre, because like these are characters we grew up with. Like, you can see Psycho's little Batman in the back. These are characters that we grew up with. And we know hundreds of different Batman stories, so we know what is Batman, we know what is Superman, and we want to see that on the screen and see it represented. Like, seeing Iron Man in so many different interpretations, and it has been amazing, or Captain America, or these famous big characters, right? So there's so many different Batmans now. It's ridiculous. And Superman might be gone soon because they're not treating Henry Cavill how he probably should.
Yeah,
be
how come
treated.
this is always something we see too with the DC shit, but we don't see from Marvel? Like, we don't hear these stories really that much coming from the Marvel, like with the issues with the directors and the actors, and issues with this and that. And in fact, like on FunPop, not on FunPop, on fucking 4GQ TV, when I was with the panel there, and we got to interview Desmond, it was like Desmond Chiam, I think it was his name. He worked on Falcon and the Winter Soldier. He was one of the characters in that, one of the villains in that, and he just raved about what an easy, great experience it was working with everybody there at Marvel, and how people were so welcoming, and like it was a fun set. It didn't feel like you were like, I mean, it felt serious, he said, but like, and everybody was there to work, but they poured passion into their work, and like it wasn't like a toxic environment. But anytime we see like just like the thing with Robert Pattinson going on right now with Matt Reeves, that's a rumor, and all these other things, we see all this stuff from DC. Joss Whedon, right, in the Justice League movie, Zack Snyder, like in what they did to him, right? Like, there's just all this controversy following all of these DC movies and stuff. It's fucking like weird, man, you know?
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
it just feels like, you know, you have to get the right actors and the right directors, but that stems from the top. And DC, or not DC, but Marvel, Disney, you know, they're doing the right things, getting the right actors, getting the right directors to do their movies. And DC is like, who's the biggest name of actors and direct, and who, you know, and who is a new edgy director. And it's like, And if they clash, they clash. Who cares?
I mean, Marvel shuts that down pretty quick. I mean, Jasper mentioned something with like Don Cheadle and the Hulk. If you guys remember, because this did happen a couple of times, I will admit, like Marvel has dealt with some people in the past. If you think about Ant-Man, the first Ant-Man was originally directed by Edgar Wright. I love his directing. He's great. He did Baby Driver and Scott Pilgrim, one of my favorite movies of all time. He was originally directing Ant-Man, and he had a vision for what Ant-Man should be. Marvel had their vision for what Ant-Man should be. It didn't work out, and they took most of his script, got a new director, and finished the movie. And then they did something recent like that with Doctor Strange, where one director wanted to make it very horror based, and Marvel wanted to make it scary, but they had also have their vision for how Doctor Strange should be. They replaced that director. So it's not like it doesn't happen at Marvel. I think they're just a lot more like okay,
yeah, that's because like that's their controlling of their brand, right? You know what I mean? Like it's not where it's going into like this cutting of all of the director's vision and like replacing the director with somebody else that's using all the footage from them and chopping it up and releasing something like that's fucking horrible, right? Like there's a lot of, it's like, because okay, it doesn't fit with their artistic vision where that's what I mean by the overarching control over the franchise. And that's why every Marvel seems connected, even if it's like Black Widow. Like Black Widow was such a different movie than any other MCU movie we've seen. It was so different, right? But when you're watching it, it still feels like a fucking MCU movie somehow, right? Like it still like has that something with the writing, something with like the way the camera work is shot. Like there's like some things they're doing that tie it all together in ways that we don't think about, right? Like they know the tricks, right? They know the tricks.
They have a Bible guide.
Yeah,
they have a Bible guide. Their Bible guide is awesome. I've seen it. It's pretty much what they have before they what they do with the storyboard artist, the director. There's this artist, his name is Ryan something, I can't remember his name. He does all the concept art, he creates all the costumes for all the MCU characters for the most part, like the major ones. It's Ryan something, I wish I could remember the last name, but he's super talented. They have a Bible guide for Marvel, how things are normally shot, and they pretty much have like a guide.
The Ryan Penagos
maybe
he's a vice president and creative executive at Marvel.
Oh yeah, I think he moved up. Maybe that is him. Let's see, Ryan Penagos.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that is him. I think he started off just like as a concept artist, but he literally designed every single like Marvel costume out there, like Black Panther, Captain America, Iron Man, that they're like, okay, you deserve a higher position. I think now he's pretty high now. But yeah, at Marvel they have a Bible guide. And what the Bible guide basically says for storyboard artists is how things are normally shot and what the rules are of how you should normally draw out these characters for the director. And the DP and all these other people are following those guides, but the director, what makes it different is the director will sometimes break those rules, which is what Mav was kind of saying, like it feels different or whatever. Sometimes they'll be like, okay, I want a shaky cam here, I want something different here. That's when they'll take certain elements of the script or because they basically design all this from the script is first, and then you draw out the storyboards, right, and all this different stuff. But the Bible guide is what makes the MCU for the most part. And I had a Bible guide at when I worked at Cartoon Network too, of like what you're allowed to do at Cartoon Network, what you're allowed to draw, or how characters should be drawn in certain angles, and you have to follow that guide. And I think DC needs that. They need a guide of what makes DC. You want to make it dark and you want to make it like that, sure. Follow that trend for the rest of your movies, maybe. I just want the DC universe to be connected for the most part and not be as confusing as what it is now, because you have like different Batmans. You're like, some things are connected, sometimes it's not.
It's like, I don't know, is Shazam connected to these things? Because I think it was originally supposed to be, but now I don't know if it is. You know what I mean?
It was connected, but now I don't know.
That's 100%, right? Is Wonder Woman still connected to the Flash? When they make the next Flash movie, are those still part of this thing? Like, I don't know. Who knows, right?
Well, hell, even the Flash movie will even connect with what we saw with the Zack Snyder cut. It probably won't be the same actor.
Yeah, so, it's just confusing. But we gotta start wrapping it up, guys. Yeah, I think we all made excellent points. I think Kate really wants Marvel, and wants DC to be like Marvel.
Yeah.
It's almost been 3 hours.
Yeah.
Holy crap!
All right, we kind of all went on a rant there.
Yeah, that's all good.
All right, Kate, first in my heart.
Yeah.
Where can everybody find you?
You can find me on Twitter at KaitlinX0615. You can find me on Xbox Ultimate every Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern. And you can find me on the Mav and Fancy Show every Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, baby.
Okay, friend.
I said baby. Psycho Mellow Fellow.
You're
from
still mad at me.
Arkham. I'm not mad at you.
I love how the ears line up
with his head
perfectly with Psycho's head.
Yeah. It's
like he is Batman.
I'm Batman.
Where can everybody find you online, Psycho?
Yeah. Chat, you guys were amazing tonight. Thanks for stopping out. There were some bad takes. I'm not going to name who you, but
everybody's takes are their own. There's no bad takes. It's just bad opinions. No,
I'm just messing with.
They all suck.
No. Whoa. Anyways, you guys can find me everywhere. Social media, Psychonauts 8. You can find me on my YouTube channel, Gamer Chat Podcast, Gamer Chat, one word. You can find me here every Wednesday at 10 with FunPop. Every Friday, Friday. I forget where my days anymore. Every Friday at Xbox Ultimate with the M7 and all these lovely panel members here. And I'll be surprising somebody this Saturday at 6 p.m.
Oh, really? Cool.
What?
Mav. What? Mav, where can I find you? Where can they
No,
find you, brother?
We gotta get 3-bit first. 3-bit. Where can everybody find you?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, he was late. You go first. I'm just kidding.
All right, we'll try this. All right, everybody can find me on Twitter at Fun Speculation, here on YouTube at Fun Speculation. I want to thank our host 3-bit for inviting me, and also I want to make sure you guys.
Also, now he gets host credit.
The podcast on Google
Hey.
Podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcast, all that stuff. Super pretty. Hey, chat, you guys fucking rock. Dread, you rock.
Hey.
Back, you rock. Hellboy, you rock. Jasper, you rock. Jesse B, you rock. You all fucking rock. Yeah, okay. Anyway.
The house tonight. Rock.
I super appreciate it. And Saturday is the Mav and Fancy Show at 6 p.m. Eastern. Also, Friday is Xbox Ultimate at 9 p.m. Eastern. And we're going to have a fun show a couple weeks from now. So we're going to have our 1-year special on the show. Now, again, like I said, Mr. Host 3-Bit, thanks for
Yes.
letting me be here
Of course.
today.
Yeah.
So go ahead and take us out and let everybody know where they can find you as well, host.
Well, first off, I'd like to thank Cardi B for showing up. Because wow, I know you have a busy schedule and making songs and stuff. So, no, you guys can find me at the Twitter at the Twitter at the BGHD.
At the Twitter.
That's Twitter.
That's Twitter.
My YouTube channel is TheVideoGamesHD. And Kate, you need to come on the show more because what you do, I just realized is like you balance out our fanboyness.
And she asks
Marvel.
us questions.
Realism.
Which gives us stuff to talk about.
Yeah, which is it's good questions. So you guys can find me on there. I will be on the Shop podcast this coming Saturday. And I'm on Xbox Factor every Tuesday. And then Ultimate, you guys could find me on Fridays. So that's pretty much it. Love you guys. Thanks for showing up in chat. And I'll see you guys on the next one.
Also, everybody, don't forget, it's douche day.
It is douche day. I thought that was tomorrow. Is that not tomorrow?
No, it's today. Yesterday was Taco Tuesday. Today is douche day.
Okay. Yeah, today.
Feeling extra fresh and clean.
Ah.
FunPop. FunPop.